What does it mean when we say we are preparing students for their future? Here at the Clark County School District, it means providing every student with the tools to dream big and achieve even bigger. So, welcome to Career and Technical Education, where we make possibilities become realities. Come on, let me show you. CTE isn't just a program, it's a journey. Across Clark County, students are exploring careers in engineering, healthcare, the arts, and so much more. The CTE framework features 6 distinct clusters, each offering unique pathways toward a shared objective, student success. Within these clusters, students can explore more than 60 diverse programs of study. With such a wide range of options, CTE truly has something to offer every student. Like prepping our future doctors, to giving students hands-on learning with cutting-edge technology, to the trades. Our programs are vast with a range of skills students will gain from them.
CTE is about showing students that their future starts here. It's not just skills. They're learning to lead, innovate, and thrive.
Through hands-on learning and real-world experiences, our students graduate ready for what's next, whether it's college, a career, or both. 91% of CTE students say their programs better prepared them for their future.
With internships, certification, and college credit, CTE students gain more than knowledge. They gain a head start.
My CTE classes have showed me that I can make a difference in healthcare, and now I'm on my way to become a physical therapist.
My CTE class taught me skills that I never thought I would use, but now that I'm here, I might use them in the near future.
My CTE classes showed me that I could make a difference in medicine, and now I'm on my way to medical school.
CTE is more than education. It's inspiration, it's opportunity, and it's happening right here in Clark County. Explore the possibilities. Visit cteincccsd.org today and discover how CTE can shape your future. Because at CCSD, we're not just preparing students for tomorrow, we're preparing them to lead.
One of the schools that performed at this year's State of the Schools address was Gilbert Academy of Creative Arts. We had the chance to visit this North Las Vegas elementary school, and we met some very talented students and staff.
Let's go from the top.
Today we worked with Chromatics, which was our instrument group, and some of our members of Collage, which is our choir, and they were creating movements to go along with an instrument piece that Chromatics has been practicing.
One of my dream jobs is to be a singer or a songwriter, and maybe even actor. I like when the audience kind of sees me doing it, especially when my mom's in there, because she's always proud of me and stuff.
Okay, third grade. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on page 3 with Agent Holly and Agent Mikkel. Can you guys go get set up right over there? And then we'll continue on to the computer nerds.
And I want to be an actor when I grow up, so I moved to this school so I can act and show people my talent and just let people know what I want to do when I am older. You get different prompts and you have to express different emotions at different times in the show. It's really hard to memorize your script without a script paper to see and know your roles.
As I was growing up, the arts were always a big part of my life. I really just want to be able to influence students to understand how art is really a part of our everyday lives and how that can really infiltrate our academics, and as we integrate them, how much of a deeper understanding our students can have for the curriculum itself.
You can move through the space
I want you to, the metallic ones, get ready to play your improvisation. And then you guys do something with your prop and see how many different ways you can move it.
Elementary kids learn how to communicate confidently when they participate in the arts. They learn how to collaborate and work together as part of an ensemble when they play or sing or act together.
And how is that going to help them when they're adults?
Every person at some point will have to stand up in front of a group of people and lead a meeting or give a speech. And this is a great way for kids to learn how to do that, even if they're nervous, to learn how to be confident when they perform. We believe that every child is capable of creating beautiful music and movement, and it doesn't matter what the level of talent is, they're going to grow from where they are.
Bravo! Phenomenal job. Thank you to Gilbert Academy for inviting us to learn more about your wonderful school.
Okay, welcome everyone. I would like to say that we are grateful that we have reached this point. My name is Irene Bustamante Adams. I get the privilege to serve the team as the board president. I call this regular board meeting of March 13th, 2025 to order. The time is 5:01 p.m. I would like to remind everyone to silence your electronic devices. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the territorial homeland of the Nuwu, the Moapa Band of Paiutes, and the Las Vegas Band of Paiutes. We'll go to item 1.01. Trustee Cavazos, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The presentation of colors will be by the Clark High School ROTC. Thank you. You may take your seats. Before I go to Agenda 1.02, is there anyone that has not had an opportunity to complete a public speaker card? Okay, please submit it up here in the front. We'll wait for you. Thank you. As they complete their cards, none of them are for item number 1.02. Therefore, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a first? Trustee Cavazos.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to adopt agenda item 1.02, adoption of the agenda.
Thank you. I have a first. Trustee Esparza-Stroffagan.
I will second that motion.
I have a first from Trustee Cavazos, a second from Trustee Esparza-Stroffagan. Please cast your votes.
Okay, I'll fix it.
All right, Trustee Esparza-Stroffagan.
Madam President, I would like to ask the maker of the motion if she would be amenable to adding an item that needs to be corrected. Reference material and additional reference material is provided for item 3.01, Superintendent Search.
Yes, I would.
Thank you. We have, that motion has been amended and seconded by Trustee Esparza-Straffigan. If you could please cast your vote. Mr.
Click on your screen.
Okay, that motion passes 7-0. Next, we will go to agenda item 2.0. We do not have any public comment cards, but has anybody not completed a public comment card for this section? Okay, see none. Then I will move to adopt the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Thank you. Trustee Zamora?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. No?
The consent agenda.
Sorry, to the consent agenda.
Thank you. I have a first to adopt the consent agenda. Trustee Cavazos?
I will second that motion.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. Please cast your votes. That motion passes 7-0. We will now move on to ask Trustee Henry to please read the warrants.
Thank you, Madam President. The ratified warrants is listed in the bills payable transmittal and board memorandum number 14-24-25 in the total amount of $299,875,141.87.
Thank you, Trustee Henry. With that, then, we'll move on to item 3.01, our superintendent search. This is discussion and possible action on the selection of a superintendent search finalist to fill the position of superintendent of schools for the Clark County School District. I just take a point of privilege before we start, but has anybody not completed a public comment card yet? Oh, we have them coming in. So we are, I'm going to take a point of privilege and just to thank, it takes an army for us to accomplish what we have done thus so far and what we will do tonight. I do know that one trustee, Esparza-Straffigan, said that we are making history as we sit up here today, and so I'm grateful for that. And then we will discuss the process as a team to make sure we have an understanding of how we will discuss this part. And then we will do discussion and then public comment and then motion for a vote, hopefully, if that's what the team would desire. But just as the board president, and I'm sure my other colleagues can join me, I know that we've reached the final stage of selecting our next superintendent. I want to take a moment to express my deep appreciation to everyone who participated in this process. Since we began this journey at the beginning of last year, we have spent a lot of time. Countless individuals have contributed their energy, their resources, and expertise to get us through. Regardless of the outcome, one thing remains unchanged. Tomorrow, our students will be in the classrooms, and the staff will continue to provide the incredible support to them. As trustees of one of the most important responsibilities that we have is hiring our superintendent. No candidate is perfect, but our focus has always been on selecting the individual who best aligns with our leadership profile and the needs of our district. So I do want to extend my appreciation to my fellow trustees for all the hard work that you guys have contributed in this process since last year. And for the new trustees, the newly elected, you inherited a lot. We resumed in February, even though we've been working on this since May of last year. And within the short amount of time, you've had to absorb, give input, and I know it's been a lot, so I just want to say on behalf of the team, thank you. The search was a tremendous undertaking, and it took, like I said, an army to get us to this point. I would like to thank some of the groups that participated. In the beginning, we had focus groups so that we could get as much community feedback. And schools like Jim Bridger, Chaparral, Cimarron Memorial, Coronado, Clark, Del Sol, El Dorado, Las Vegas Academy, Liberty, Moapa Valley, Mojave, Rancho, Spring Valley, City of Henderson, City of Las Vegas, thank you for opening your doors. It was because of you that you guys provided the space so that community could give us input on our profile. I'd also like to thank the CCSD departments and teams, communications, engagement, marketing, the interpreters, Office of General Counsel, police, emergency management, Vegas PBS, technology, information systems. We couldn't have done it without you to be able to make sure that we had the input from the community in order to make this important decision today. Also, a special thank you to the board office led by Joe Caruso for your outstanding service as a team to help us navigate this important decision, and to our search firm, HYA. I know that you do this for a living, but every time that we felt nervous of getting to this point, you helped us to navigate the waters, and so with that, I express our gratitude. Finally, I want to be able to thank our interim superintendent, Brenda Larson-Mitchell. She inherited a mountain of challenges, yet she navigated it with grace and an unwavering commitment to putting students first. And so for her leadership, I just want to express my gratitude. With that, we're going to move into how we're going to handle 3.01. Like I said, we're going to talk about the process and get an agreement from our team, and then we will go into that discussion. So my recommendation is what worked well last time is that in order for all the trustees to be heard, each person will get up to about 3 minutes to give their comments. My recommendation is that we stay positive because we don't know which person we're going to vote for, and this person, any one of them could be our future employee. So let's stay positive, high level, and then we will not entertain a motion until we hear public comment. Then we will come back and make a vote and see if who progresses forward. So any questions on the process? Trustee Cavazos.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to clarify, during discussion, before we hear public comment, you do not want anyone making a motion at that time?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And anybody can put themselves in the queue. In order to be fair, I will time in up to 3 minutes. Stay high level, positive. You could talk about all three candidates and what you liked about the strengths that they had and the vision that we have as a team and that they may meet. So I will start with Trustee Stevens.
Thank you. In the spirit of staying positive, and I do think that's a great idea, so I don't want to say negative things about, the candidates. I'm sure we could all pick apart everything we heard in interviews, some good, maybe not some so good. But for me, I can say I thought Jesse, I thought he did a really great job with the data. I think he knows the school district pretty well. I appreciated a lot of his presentations. With Ben, I know he was an outsider, and so a lot of people had different opinions on that. Some people thought it was good. Some people didn't think it was so good. He was very good at presenting as well. And then there was Joan, and one of the things that I noticed about Joan that I really liked yesterday, and there's nothing wrong, by the way, with looking at notes. There's nothing wrong with looking at notes. But when we were asking her questions off the cuff, I didn't see her look down one time, and I think the reason for that was because she just knows this stuff. That said, my support is going to be for Joan, because when I think about the leadership profile that we got from the community, the most consistent thing that we saw was a need to have somebody who knows our community. And I think that that's probably one of the most important things, considering we want to see things move quickly. I think the community is expecting to see things move quickly. And so to have somebody who knows our district, knows our state laws, I think that's going to make a big difference in how quickly we can move this thing forward. So that's my thought process.
Thank you, Trustee Stevens, and thank you for modeling exactly, staying high level. I appreciate that. Trustee Barron.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, I think we had a slate of 4 and then down to 3 candidates who we were able to drill down and get a lot of feedback. The community met them. We were able to know a lot more about them and what they've done. All 3 actually have pretty impressive backgrounds. You have a guy from, quote, the outside who I think he's the kind of person who's a transformative kind of person who we might actually see, if there's still a Department of Education in a few years, he might be, quite frankly, there. We have a person here who has already achieved a lot with the district in Jesse Welch, who I was one of those teachers that was part of the transformation from Interact to Google. I had my doubts, but that one, it was a good transformation. And then we have our state superintendent, Joni Ebert. I want to submit something to my colleagues and to the public. Right now, we're basically at about a crisis situation. We have no idea what's coming to us from the federal government. We have a possibility that things like that we were sure of that was going to be, that we could count on, things like Social Security, Medicaid, the Department of Education helping us to feed our children, that right now are very much in doubt. We're going to need a leader who brings stability. We need a leader who can actually have a relationship, a bipartisan relationship, with our state leaders, with our governor. Has cultivated that, and she has respect. I really believe, as an educator, you know, we still have a school year that's based on the age of agriculture. We have a promotion system that's based on the age of industry. We're 2 ages ahead of that. We should be in the age of information and beyond. I honestly believe that we really need a total transformation, a relook at education. But guess what? For the next couple of years, we're going to need a lot more than that. We're going to need just stability. As an employee, our employees are looking to us to bring a measure of stability. Our public wants to see something stable. They don't want to see us in the news. They have enough news to be worrying about. The leader that I think is going to go ahead and build a great team, with all respect to everybody else, is going to be Joni Ebert. I expect that if my colleagues agree with me, and they make the vote, because of course I don't get a vote, I know I will be throwing my full support behind that hire, and we're going to be expecting things out of her. And I think she's going to be accountable to us in a way that, quite frankly, we haven't seen in this district in a few years. And I think she'll be accountable to our community. We don't need a superstar. We need a stalwart. We need someone who's going to tell our employees, tomorrow you'll be at school, you're going to do your job, and we're going to be here to support you. I think that leader is going to be Joni Ebert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Satori.
Thank you. I also want to thank HYA for bringing us such high-quality candidates and making this such a tough decision. I mean, it really was, and I really went into it with an open mind, and just, and throughout the process, I kind of went back and forth a little bit, and it was hard to make a decision, which is a good thing because they were such good candidates. With Dr. Jesse Welch, he's definitely knowledgeable. I mean, he knows his stuff. He's professional. I can tell he's just a really hard worker that would do great operationally. He referred to himself as the data dude. So I think, that component of it, he's very skilled. And there's, that's an important part. My concerns really with him were the culture and climate piece, which is really important right now. So I don't see as much the community connecting with him. Like I said, I think he could do a great job. If he is our choice, I think he will, be a, hit it running, really, do a good job, work hard. I just worry about the community connection piece. And then as much as respect as I have for him and his experience, I just also have a concern about him embracing balanced governance. There was one comment he made at Rancho when he was asked about working with the board. He said something along the lines of, well, I would hope if the board selects me, they would give me the green light to do the things I said I was going to do. And so in this situation, to me, that's a rubber stamp board. And what we've been talking about is that's not what we want to be. We want to be working together collaboratively. And while I really appreciated, the 100-day plan and all of the hard work, and it had, really great points and ideas. I just have a concern that it needs to be a collaborative vision. So those were my concerns there. And like I said, I just have concerns that, that the fit isn't quite right, although he is an incredibly knowledgeable and talented individual. With Mr. Ben Schuldener, he really impressed me, I will say. I was surprised. He's very innovative. He, in a short amount of time, I felt like really did his research, got to know our community. He was really pinpointing a lot of specific things and giving specific strategies of this is what I would do, this is what I would look at. I really appreciated that and liked that. I found myself furiously taking notes as he's talking, trying to get all the ideas. And so, I really enjoyed listening to him. He connected well with the community as well. When we got the community feedback, he really quickly got a lot of support, which was good to see. The main concern there is the unknown. How much is his heart really into us? How much? And then from last meeting, the public comment about don't make the same mistake that was made before, picking the shiny penny that we don't know. And so I know, change is important, but as you said, consistency is as well. So I just have those concerns there. With Joan Ebert, she's not an unknown. I mean, she knows our community. She's been committed to our students and to education for 35 years. Her experience is unrivaled. I mean, the knowledge she has from being state superintendent, she just understands the complexities of our state and of the legislative connections to the changes that we need. I think the legislative connections and knowledge that she has, that's where the change is going to come from, not necessarily from just a new person bringing something, but something that has the knowledge and capabilities to make those changes, to actually make it happen. It's one thing to have the ideas, but how are you going to implement it and make it happen and see that change? So my only hesitation through the process when I said I kind of swayed back and forth a little bit was some of the feedback from the community. It was a little mixed. I would say I kind of got emails regarding her, for and against from some prior staff and stuff. So I started having concerns about that. I was like, we need somebody that connects with the community and the staff. Is she going to? Will she have that support that she needs? However, when I went to Rancho, and I watched her interact with the staff and then go to the community. The staff, she had and I was only in there for a brief moment because I didn't want to stay in the staff one too long. I was mostly in the community one. I wanted the staff to be able to talk openly, but I wanted to kind of just get a feel for how she was interacting. I went in and I really loved her energy with the staff. And so I was like, okay, I love that. And she was really speaking their language, I felt. She knows education. You could just see that they were, there was a great presence there. I love that she talks a lot about bringing joy. She used the word joy a lot. And I'm like, not only do we need a knowledgeable leader and think someone can do it, but we need positivity. We need some happiness in this district. So I'm like, when I hear her saying joy a lot, I really think that's what she's wanting to bring. And so I appreciated that. I believe she'll put her whole heart into the role. And the other thing was, to me, I was like, she doesn't need this position. She's got a great position. I'm like, she's doing it because she wants it. She wants to do it. She wants to make a change. She wants to be here for our community. So I think great candidates, however the vote goes. I definitely think they all have strengths, and I would get behind and support and work with whoever. I think we have some great options, but I would also put my support behind Joan Ebert.
Thank you. Trustee Dominguez?
Thank you, Madam President. It's been a long process, and half of this process has been me as a candidate. So I appreciate the work that was done here before from the previous board and the work that was done by HYA. This was a very intensive process, and looking through all the resumes, letters of recommendation, there's a lot of work that went into this. To me, it was very obvious that one candidate stood out. That's something I heard continuously as a candidate. You hear they want someone who's connected to Nevada, if not Las Vegas, but to Nevada, and somebody who understands the challenges, the values that are here, the diversity that is here, someone that understands how our laws work, how our laws are here in Vegas, and who can see our potential as a county. So we hear a lot about wanting to break up the district, and that's a whole nother problem. Not going to jump onto that landmine, but we want somebody who sees the potential that Clark County School District can be as a district, as a whole. We want someone who has proven to run a large organization and that can lead a team, bring back efficiency, and has the courage to stand firm for what's best for our students. That is truly what we need. And because of that, I would like to stand behind Joan Ebert for superintendent.
Thank you. Trustee Biasotti?
Good evening, everyone. I am very honored to be part of this process. I thank HYA and everyone for their diligent interviews. It was all very revealing. I do have to say, I too was impressed with Ben Schultener. I think he did great. He's a great interviewer. However, I know a lot of people see COVID-19 as an extraordinary situation we shouldn't judge people on, but I see it as a litmus test. And for me, mandating COVID vaccines on staff and employees is just absolutely unacceptable. To infringe on the sovereignty of anyone's body is just, I don't agree with that. It's scary. So right away, that's one of the things that, for me, I kept looking. I saw Jesse Welsh, and I think he also is very knowledgeable. So is Joan Ebert. However, I don't feel the leadership profile represented me or my voters. And I think we're coming on, there's a reason for that. I'm coming on where the face of education in general is changing. I think the community wants change. We don't want to fall into the same rhetoric of always judging our students by ethnicity or socioeconomic status. We want to see kids as unique children that all have their unique talents. They're individuals. They all deserve the same attention. And I wanted someone to see all children be focused on the potential that they all have. And I don't see that any one candidate reflects the values that my community has been looking for. Like I said, we want change, and I don't see that in any of the three leaders. So as of now, I can't say where my support is going, but thank you.
Thank you. I just want to make a note that Trustee Johnson has been on the phone for some time, and I did not acknowledge him. So my apologies, Trustee Johnson. Next trustee in the queue. Yeah. Seeing none. Trustee Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Would you like to go, or I could take the next person in the queue?
Yeah, you can go to the next person and I'll go last.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure I'm able to transition.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Esparza-Strofagan.
Thank you, Madam President. So I kind of wrote out my comments a bit, you know how I do things. I do want to thank HYA because of the due diligence, and it was a year-long process. Their patience, they really engaged the community, and I want to say that they really adapted to all of our unique needs and requests that we made and really asked of them. What I think the public needs to understand is we get an abundance of information, and there's a lot of things that came to us for a year, actually, about this process, and we listened to you. We engaged and we made sure that voices were heard, from students to parents to staff to business leaders to our elected officials. So I think the questions that I want to kind of present is like thinking about, is this the candidate that is a good fit for CCSD right now? That was a leading question for me when I was deliberating about the three. And then secondly, are we being realistic? We're not looking for a savior. We mentioned it before. There's no shiny object out there that's going to come and fix this. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take a community. But then I think about the profile. What does the community want? The community said they wanted someone relational, culturally responsive, transformational, data-driven in order to improve student achievement. They wanted a financial steward. They wanted an effective communicator. They wanted someone with political acumen and the knowledge of CCSD. So I want to highlight that all of our candidates, we can say, met most or all of the attributes. But the reason that I selected the question that I did, the question that I chose was about what would you do in times of crisis, and what kind of crisis did you encounter and mitigate? For me, that would highlight what was their definition of a crisis, number one. What was their adaptability to be able to pivot and manage a crisis? More importantly, how are they going to create a plan of action and resolve it? And what are the lessons that they would learn from it? We had three candidates that had three distinct and different situations that presented to us. And I want to say to you, there was only one moving forward candidate that has met the profile, in my opinion. And I want to echo what Trustee Barón mentioned, that I have real concerns about. You think the challenges we just went through this year, community, I want to just say, I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but the challenges that are going to be ahead of us are going to be much, much harder. Those challenges on a national level, on a federal level, we don't know on a state level what's going to happen. We are trying to rebuild trust. We are trying to continue to build transparency, and we need healing in this community. We have gone through a period of time that was very hard, and more hard times are coming, folks. So I would say to you that there's one leader that can navigate it, that we can get behind as a community. This is a community decision that we will all own and support. And so therefore, I would put my support for Joan Ebert.
Thank you. Any other trustees would like to give their comments? Trustee Henry.
Thank you so much. This has been a long process in a short period of time for me. And I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to be amongst us who are making this decision. And I'm thankful also to HYA because they did a lot of work in having to vet numerous candidates. I feel that the slate that we had moving forward, that I would have been totally fine with any of them to lead us. Mr. Schuldiner, with his business acumen, was quite impressive. And also with Mr. Jesse Welch and having he has a history here. I got a lot of great feedback and information on him, and I really did like his interview as well. And then with our state superintendent, same. We've been hearing the same things coming from everyone. And so I too would like to have support for Ms. Joan Ebert.
Thank you. Trustee Zamora.
Thank you, Madam President. I first want to thank the previous board and this board for continuing to push for the community input part. And I think that was really important more than anything as we went through this process to include community, being intentional about how we do the community meetings. And then I want to thank the community for actually showing up. I think our inboxes have been really full for a few months now. And we're grateful. We're really, really grateful that, we had parents, teachers, all levels of the Clark County community show, their thoughts, share their thoughts of what they wanted and everything. And I appreciate it. I'm sure my fellow board members also agree. Thank you to HYA. I know they're on the phone listening. I was very impressed with all three. I think Ben Schuldiner, and forgive me because he was intentional learning how to say Nevada, because I know everyone, had an input about that, and I cannot pronounce his name correctly, but he was really impressive. He had that charisma, right, that I think a lot of us had seen. But it is a little bit difficult when we talk about where we're at as a state right now of Clark County, right? We were just in legislative session last week, and things are moving fast, right? And to get someone, I believe, that's out of state, it's just not the right time right now. Jesse Welsh, he was also very impressive. The data part for me, I think data equals results, right? Everything we do and how to be successful, I think, is very data-driven. So that was very, very impressive. But our state superintendent, Joan Ebert, I feel, just has the experience to this magnitude of what our district is. As we keep mentioning legislative session, she, I think, can hit the ground running the way we need her to, because if you're following along, there is a lot of threat to our public education and to our budget and our funding. She also, as Trustee Barron mentioned, about someone, who's going to be communicative in the news. I have seen firsthand that, Dr. Ebert is not afraid of the media, and I think that's really important for us to recover from all the damage that has happened in the past years. And as a mother of kids in the district, I think she really has an understanding and a grounding of listening to parents more than anything, and not just parents, but all levels. So I am fully supportive of our state superintendent as well.
Thank you. And I just asked the trustees if you could speak into the microphone. Trustee Johnson is having a little bit of difficulty hearing. Trustee Johnson, after Trustee Cavazos, you will be in the queue. So Trustee Cavazos.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to go in a little bit different direction here. I just want to remind everyone that, respectfully, when our educators, our support professionals, everyone, including ourselves up here on the dais, when we look at our children, they are not just data points. They are not just numbers. They have faces. They are different. They are unique. And every single one of them, no matter where they come from, what their home environment is, and whatever difficulties they may have, we need to offer the same educational opportunity to every single one of them. So when I was listening to these candidates, and of course, I've been here for a while. I'm the only one here on the dais that was here for the last superintendent search. I find it right now like I don't really want to dissect each candidate. Each one of them had different strengths. I don't like to say weaknesses. Sometimes I'll say areas where we could improve, okay? But some of them were very, very strong in technology. Some of them had a very, very engaging personality in the way that they interviewed. But I want to say that when we look at our children, when I talk to our educators, when I go out to the schools, when I talk to our principals that work so hard every day along with their staff, they look at the whole child. So we want to hire a person that not only has the technical skills, but we want to hire a person that's going to look at every single one of our children, our parents, our community members, and they're going to look at them as people. And that requires an investment in our community. Somebody that is going to stay here, somebody that's not just visiting our schools for photo ops, but actually wants to tour the school, wants to talk to the teachers, wants to see what is actually going on in the trenches. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a former CCSD teacher. I'm saying that because the conversations that we have had, and the biggest thank you besides HYA I want to give is to all of the people that have been showing up, especially our educators and our parents and our kids, meeting after meeting after meeting for the last, I don't even know how long it's been, since last February, since we started this search. So I'm going to reserve my vote for when I vote tonight, and I will say that every single one of them deserves to have a voice tonight from you guys, that's the reason why we're going to have the public comment before we do a vote. So I want to hear from all of you, because we have received, I'm not sure how many, as Trustee Zamora said, dozens and dozens and dozens of emails, messages, direct messages. I had people going to my personal counseling site to try to track me down. But the thing I heard overall is do the best you can. People are going to be mad at you in some groups, no matter what you say. But you need to do the right thing, because integrity is not letting yourself be pressured by what other people think that you should do, but you need to listen to everyone, even if you don't agree with them, and then you do the right thing for, number one, our children. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson?
I appreciate everybody letting me be here virtually. I'm navigating my way through an airport. And so if I break up at any point, I hope someone will text message me, Joe. You can text message me and let me know. This has been a really fascinating process to go through. It's our most important responsibility. So I'm going to skip through the long soliloquy to kind of get through some of the points that I had. I really found it so fun to be able to take some of the quantitative information that we were able to get from scoring, from the data that we saw from our community, taking the qualitative information that we were able to get from what the candidates gave themselves. And as everybody already mentioned, we have 3 really strong candidates. And so I think no matter which direction we go, we're going to have some areas where we're going to have to support a person because they will have to learn and grow. And then they'll also have some strengths that they're going to bring to the table. As I looked through it, I really was, and I'll have to share my ranking because I won't get a vote at the end. But for me, what really impressed me about Mr. Welch, or Dr. Welch rather, is his ability to be concise, clear, and planned out. He had a 100-day plan that was incredibly thorough, that was incredibly detail-oriented. It was tactical in a variety of ways. And so it showed me that he had the ability to critically think through a variety of levels in order to get to a set of outcomes. It's also quite impressive that he was able to share pretty clearly, how he would leverage different members of the community in order to bring that plan to fruition. And so, maybe it's because I have an analytical mind as well. I really was drawn to that. And so I appreciated that about his way he approached the situation, the way he approached the whole process. Superintendent Gilbert, I also appreciated her ability to humanize and connect with the community. She came in and she shared her why, which was incredibly important. She also talked through very clearly how she had examples of navigating through challenges. And in fact, she was the only candidate that I saw that had really clear examples when asked questions and clear follow-up around what she did, why she did it, and how she would be able to replicate some of those things, in particular around Trustee Stafford's question around handling the crisis, which I think in this role is one of the most important things, how you would rally a group of people, how you would then move them all in certain directions, and then how you would learn from that situation to prevent it from happening again. So her example about a cyber attack is really poignant in that it highlighted how she would think through coalescing a full community to kind of navigate a really important challenge. However, my top choice is actually Mr. Schuldner. I know he is he's an outsider. I recognize that we need to be able to move quickly during the session. But a couple things indicated to me that he'd be able to do that. One, his quick understanding of all of the challenges that we have financially here, and be able to not only break down those really complex issues and simplify them for us in a way that indicated that he would be able to move us in that direction, but also his ability to really break down key ways that he would build relationships, right? Leveraging the strengths that we had, leveraging his own strengths, right? It helped me see that it wouldn't just be about one individual being able to go and do this. It'd be about him being able to do it themselves, him being able to do it with a set of teammates. So, for me, I ranked the candidates as Mr. Schuldiner number 1, Superintendent Ebert number 2, and Mr. Walsh number 3. But unfortunately, I couldn't do a 1A, 1B, 1C, because quite frankly, I think with whomever we choose, we're going to have a superintendent who cares about our community, who's going to listen to our community, who's going to be well planned out. But if I had a vote, that's how I would vote.
Thank you, Trustee Johnson, and you came in very clear, so no problems there. So I think I might be the last person, and so like I said, as I made my statements, I'm grateful to be able to have 3 great candidates for us to review and pick from. And I mentioned before, I'm just so proud of being a part of this new team. And that's really what I was looking at when I was thinking about the decisions, is that for ourselves, the 11 of us, holding ourselves accountable, understanding that we don't have a vision, that our strategic plan was 2024, but looking for the kind of leader that was going to be our thought partner and the one employee to help us drive where we want to go as a team. And most of you may not know that we selected a trainer to help us with balanced governance, to hold ourselves accountable, to be able to develop metrics and be able to develop goals that we wanted to achieve together as a team. And so we did a 2-day training in February, and that's just the beginning of a 2-year journey that we're going to take. And I'm looking forward to getting not only coaching for myself as a trustee, but also coaching as part of the leadership team. And we decided unanimously to be able to go in that direction. And so when I was doing my evaluation, I was really looking and hearing for that type of leader that would be able to take us there. Each one for me had individual strengths. In my perfect world, I would have taken the strengths of all of them and put them in one, but that can't happen. And so I'm just grateful, like I said, to be able to have the opportunity to be part of this monumental vote. I'm privileged to be on this team and be a contributor. I also just want to thank each of the candidates for putting themselves out there. To be able to put yourself out there in the public, to have your background checked in and out, everything up and down, to take on our type of community, because we are 24/7. We are sometimes transient community, and we have a lot of challenges, but we are awesome. And to the candidates that put themselves out there to be able to take on a community like ours, I just want to say thank you for putting your foot forward, and everything that we asked of you to do the community forums, you did with flying colors. Like I said, each one of them has their strength. I will reserve my vote until the end, but thank you, and I'm really grateful that we have 3 people that we could select from. So with that, we're going to go into public comment. We do have people that signed up for public comment. And we'll start with Ms. Williams, and then we'll go to Mr. Bailiff. We have 2. Mr. Bailiff, I don't know which one you want to take, Ms. Williams. That one. And Mr. Bailiff, are you in the room? Okay, you can take this one here on my left to your right.
Thank you, Madam President, and our distinguished Board of Trustees. It is an exciting moment to be here today for this occasion. My name is Yvette Williams. I'm chair of the Clark County Black Caucus, and so usually I'm before you in that space. But tonight, I wanted to come forward and speak with my own voice for myself as Yvette Williams, the community advocate and resident of District F. So with that, I'd like to first say express some appreciation for HYA. We had the opportunity to actually work with them when we were organizing our focus group, and they were such a pleasure and have continued to be really a bright light in this whole process. And we've worked with many consulting firms here in the district, and I think they have been one of the best. And so with that, I wanted to just express my support. But first, before I do that, I do want to note that the Clark County Black Caucus has already sent a letter of support and is part of the public record already in support of Ms. Joan Ebert. But after further review and participation in all phases of the interview process for the CCSD superintendent, it has become more apparent that Ms. Joan Ebert is not only the most qualified, but the most experienced with the ability to manage, oversee, and lead the 5th largest school district in the nation. The most important question to ask ourselves is who has the capacity and skill sets to be successful? This important decision is critical for the future of our over 1 million children if this board enters into a minimum 4-year contract with the next superintendent. Over 1 million students will walk through the halls of Clark County schools during those 4 years. Our Board of Trustees does not have the luxury of rolling the dice this time around on hope and a prayer. Removing all the glitz and glamour during this interview process, we respectfully ask that your focus is clearly on the candidate's resume, qualifications aligned to the needs of CCSD, skill sets that drive success, depth of experience and proven results within a large urban district representative of CCSD. It's my humble opinion that there is only one candidate that meets these standards. It is a product of CCSD and understands the complex operation, demonstrates that she can successfully navigate the Nevada legislature and political landscape, has a high level of knowledge of federal, state, and CCSD policy that will provide us with stability. She's established local relationships, long-term relationships, and will hit the ground running. And majorly, most importantly, has the experience to manage a multi-billion-dollar operation, including the $10 billion 10-year bond. We need that bond to maintain our schools, and we're going to need more money to do so with raising costs. I'm going to skip some of this because I'm almost out of time, but if we hire Joan Ebert, she'll be the first woman in the 70-year history, the first woman hired.
Thank you. Mr. Bayless? And then Vicki Cardell.
That is actually a good point.
Vicki, do you want to go this way or that way? Is that one okay? All right, Mr. Bayless.
How does this thing work? There it goes. So I mainly came up here because me and Miss Ebert, we've had a pretty good rapport during the battle with Jara. Well, that was interesting. Me and her always had a few hundred laughs about Jara, actually. So I think as far as her, she knows us the best because she's dealt with a lot of us. I just have a few minor issues, again, because with her being with the Board of Ed, she technically should have been a mandated reporter, so when I told her about my son's bullying, she should have called somebody. But obviously nobody did, because we're still dealing with it. And even you guys nobody called nobody, the law enforcement ever. But it's beside the point. But I do recommend that when we get our new superintendents, we watch their wallets and make sure they don't buy no more exercise equipment. That'd be a good idea. Maybe we can keep school in the money. Maybe make sure they don't take extravagant vacations to Miami. We don't need those. Just monitor what they're doing, and we might actually be okay. I think we need to watch their piggy banks because they don't seem to watch them. But I think with the new crew we have here, I think we might actually have some pretty good ground to stand on and may actually do something and not just sound good on camera. You guys have a good one.
Thank you, Ms. Cradell, and then after her, Ms. Binder.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Vicki Cradell, CCSD teacher and president of NEA of Southern Nevada. You're about to make what may be the most important vote you have ever cast. And although this district has some shining star schools and programs, in many ways it's deeply dysfunctional. A big part of our current issues comes from Dr. Jara. A superintendent can make or break a district. He almost broke us. I say this not to scare you, but to help you fully understand the importance of your choice tonight. I asked my group of educators what traits they're looking for in a superintendent, and these are some quotes from them. The new superintendent must prioritize equity for students, improve teacher retention, and rebuild trust with educators, parents, and the community. Anyone they hire must understand the need to feel the pulse of the schools and be an active part of the development of a district-wide synergistic team. Someone who sees the value and experience of the veteran educators. One who wants to compensate educators for all the things that we do instead of devaluing it by expecting us to volunteer our time over and over. We need to hire someone who isn't beholden to testing companies, private interests, or cult leadership organizations, but who will instead dig deep to identify the problems we deal with on a daily basis and fix them. We need a superintendent who understands educators are more than just a robot who implements canned curriculum, someone who sees each individual student and knows they grow and mature at their own pace. I want someone who isn't in it for power or notoriety, someone with real roots here in Vegas and who won't leave for the next new opportunity. We already had that, so instead we need a real Nevadan who has ties to our schools and who can communicate fluently with both staff and the community. We need a person who is just as comfortable in a classroom or a boardroom, a teacher leader who knows how to build relationships in our community and with state officials, who's also willing to address toxic school cultures and find solutions so everyone can feel safe working and learning in CCSD. Our next superintendent could be our new beginning or the end of this district. We have deep-seated dysfunction here. The problems are real and they must be faced honestly. No more smoke and mirrors, no more secrets. Let's turn the light on our problems and fix them together. Together we could turn this district around, and all we need is a great superintendent to lead us all in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to remind the audience, please, let's respect our public comment speakers and keep the chatter to a minimum because it is hard for us to hear the presenter. So after Ms. Binder, Ms. Chris Giunciliani. Ms. Binder, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. It's always hard to go before Chris. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you. I know I keep reminding you that this is your legacy. It's going to be our children's legacy. By the time this is all said and done, it's going to be at least one generation that will feel anything from the hiring of the new superintendent. And everybody's right. And I really did like what one trustee said about joy, because I think I reminded you guys in one of the last couple of meetings, like, I would love to spend the next 4 years of my life, like, just not even coming here, no offense. Like, I know I ran, I'm willing, but you know what I mean. I do still have 3 children at home, and my youngest is in 3rd grade, and whatever, you know, so I would like to be able to watch from afar that you guys are able to accomplish all of the things that you're sitting here to accomplish for us and for the children and the educators. So I really do like the resonating thoughts that you all shared tonight. That's very meaningful and thoughtful. And I said a couple of weeks ago that I only had selfish reasons for not wanting to really publicly support State Superintendent Ebert, because they were all selfish, and I laid them all out. They were selfish. But in all the years that I've been causing chaos, she has always spoken to me. She's always made sure that I've had what I've needed when I've gone looking for things or had questions, or we were in a City of Las Vegas meeting one time, and I was up there going, and the district won't give me this, and you guys are talking about that. And she made sure when she saw me a couple days later that it wasn't something that she wasn't doing or her staff wasn't helping me with. And, you know, I know I can be like overwhelming sometimes, but I try to do really good things. So, again, it's only really selfish reasons that I didn't want to see her come this far, but there's nobody really more perfect that can lead all of us. Like, if she can get along with me, she can get along with everybody. Like, let's just put it that way. Okay, bye.
Thank you. After Chris, we have Ms. Jessica Alley.
Good evening, Chris Giunciliani. Thoughts from a former 30-year former special ed teacher, past president of the state and local teachers union, student and parent advocate, 16-year legislator, and 12-year county commissioner. I've attended all the meetings and read all the backup again last night. We are on the cusp of change here. There's opportunities to build true board relationships, establish an open door for parents, students, teachers, business, unions, and politicians. So I went back to the leadership framework that you all had established. Communication. Joan Ebert identified this as a weakness at the very beginning of her statement. More open and consistent communication with the trustees, the media, parents, students, and employees. Empathy. She has demonstrated she can listen, ask questions, plan, and implement. Self-awareness. She has identified her strengths and her weaknesses. This skill will help her build a management team that leads and isn't based on loyalty to her, but to the district. Accountability. She took action and held CCSD accountable on the financing fiasco and will learn from the receivership that she helped put in place. Money will go to students and classrooms and not central office. Resilience. Joan will manage with a steady hand even amongst adversity. In the end, only one candidate has exemplified these leadership skills, and only one has a wide variety of differing experiences running a system as large as this. That is Joan Ebert. In addition to teaching, she has worked in data systems, research, leadership, management, program implementation, and implementing legislative directives, and so much more. Experience does matter. Joan was also appointed by a Democratic governor and a Republican governor, and recommended by the current governor. That does not happen often, and they don't get to tell you what to do. You all make this final decision, but that speaks volumes. We are 40 days into the legislative session. Only one candidate can hit the ground running, has developed statewide education budgets, is known to all 63 legislators, can help put trust back into CCSD. And that's what our employees ask for. They want us to end the retaliation and the disrespect and trust them to do their job by supporting them with what they need. At the community meetings, she said she wanted to bring joy back into the classroom. That would be a game changer and help with retention and recruitment. She may not be the shiny new coin, but she's the one that is polished with a bit of patina and can calm the chaos and rewrite this huge ship. I have some further observations as to Mr. Schuldiner. He was seen by some as the shiny new coin. He was funny, he was glib, but I think he was shallow in his answers. Please don't confuse action and motion. As to Mr. Welsh, he's calm, thorough, thoughtful, still needs to be seasoned, but in my opinion, he'd be a great deputy team member here. Operational skills were amazing. But Joan checks all the boxes, and the community and staff asked for, and I urge you to select her tonight. And let's start the healing and put plans into place and get back to the business of education.
Ms. Alley, and then Ms. Jordan Hankins. I hope I'm saying that right. Jordan, are you? Yeah. Hakins. Thank you for correcting me. Miss Alley.
Hi, I'm Jessica Alley. I'm a parent of 2 students in primary grades in CCSD. I'm also a former teacher of CCSD, and I have been watching the superintendent race very closely, or not race, sorry, but the superintendent selection process very closely. And, you know, I was also dazzled by Mr. Schuldiner. You know, why shouldn't our students have somebody from Harvard leading the district, blah, 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 blah. You know, like he was a very, very impressive candidate, but, you know, if you dig into his background a little bit, he has ran for a political position previously, and if you look at his website, I mean, it's very obviously crafted for someone who would potentially be running for governor one day, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was also the youngest principal in New York State at like 25, 26. Where's his teaching experience? As a former teacher of this district, I sure as heck do not want to be taking directions from someone who barely taught. I don't really have much of an opinion on Welsh or Ebert. I didn't find them as impressive, and it was really hard to not be dazzled by Schuldiner. But it gives me pause that so many people that I respect in this community are saying no to him, which is why I haven't endorsed anybody either. I haven't messaged my trustee or anything because I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know, and I don't want to influence the wrong choice, you know. But I will say that, you know, I was an outsider to this district once, and I did a lot of really great work. I know a lot of teachers and administrators who came from outside of CCSD who did great work. So I don't want you to feel like that's the only thing that we should be looking at. Even though, you know, we do need somebody who is going to hit the ground running, and that probably is Ebert. And honestly, I was reading up on Welsh a little bit. He seems like a nice guy. He's very intelligent, obviously. We've talked about the data thing. But I don't find him to be ready to take on the problems that our district has. He's probably great to talk to, but I want somebody who's going to have teaching experience, has knowledge of the laws, especially special education law, and I want somebody who is familiar with CCSD, and she's taught here, she has teaching experience, and as everybody else has said, she has all of the evidence behind her in her current position as state superintendent, that she can definitely do this job and manage various personalities, whether it's on the board or in the community. So I think that, you know, we probably should not choose Welsh or Schuldiner, and I'm in favor of Ebert, I guess. I don't know. Can we redo it? I mean,
Thank you. Ms. Bywaters, you're up next, and thank you. Please proceed.
Hello, my name is Jordan Hankins. I am a PhD student at UNLV. I'm studying educational psychology, and I'm also a graduate of the Clark County School District. I attended CCSD from K through 12. I graduated from Cimarron Memorial High School. So I am very familiar with the state and our state of education here. I am also the founder and executive director of the Southern Nevada Black Educators Initiative. The Southern Nevada Black Educators Initiative was established to reduce Clark County's racial achievement gaps by focusing on the recruitment and retention of Black educators. On behalf of the Southern Nevada Black Educators Initiative, we express our strong support for Joan Ebert as the next superintendent of the Clark County School District. And as an organization committed to improving student academic outcomes, directly recruiting and mentoring pre-service educators to diversify the educators pipeline, and supporting retention and sustainability of our veteran educators, SNBI recognizes the importance of leadership, innovation, and student-centered policies. Following the input from our members, we represent Black educators, licensed professionals, and community advocates across Southern Nevada. Ebert emerged as a clear choice to lead CCSD forward. Our members overwhelmingly supported her due to her proven leadership, deep understanding of the Clark County School District, and the track record of driving meaningful improvements within the district. Additionally, Ebert has successfully navigated CCSD and the state of Nevada through one of the most challenging periods in recent history, bringing stability and leadership when it was needed the most. As a member of the Nevada Portrait of Learning Initiative, we also recognize the importance of community partnerships. So that's something that really stuck out to me and our members. Ebert's willingness to collaborate with organizations, even like ours, demonstrates her understanding of the power of collective action in addressing the challenges facing CCSD. Her leadership will be instrumental in ensuring strong, sustainable relationships between the district and community-based organizations that are committed to student achievement. While we recognize the strengths of all candidates, our members firmly believe that Ebert's leadership vision, and demonstrated commitment to educational equity make her the best choice of the Clark County School District at this critical time. We urge the Board of Trustees to prioritize the voices of educators and community stakeholders in this decision and appoint Joan Ebert as the next superintendent.
Thank you. Ms. Terrelyn Thompson, you're up next.
It's been a while. Madam President, members of the board, I'm glad to be here tonight. My name is Camila Bywaters. I am the co-chair for the Las Vegas Alliance of Black School Educators, co-chair for NASIA. Tracy Lewis is also here. She's the co-chair for LAVAPSI and also Wake Up. I come today to stand in the gap of what I've been hearing, a whole lot of ignorance across public comment and the dais. Everyone has said everything so beautiful about Superintendent Joan Ebert. I have been writing my dissertation. You won't see me for a while until I finish, but tonight was important. I needed to be here. Make no mistake about it. We need a leader who's going to stand up to bullies, because we know that Cheeto Mussolini, 47, the groomer that he is not able to really lead in a way that's going to ensure that everyone has life and liberty. Whenever you hear someone talk about the negativity of diversity and equity and inclusion, please understand that they are a white supremacist. And here's what's cold about white supremacy. White supremacy will have a person who's not even white sharing the ideologies of the oppression.
Thank you. I'm going to hold the time,
Wait, hold on.
please.
Wait, what's
No,
going on?
wait,
Oh,
I
I'm
want
like, did I do something?
No, not you, Ms. Waters. I'm asking the audience to please respect the public comment. Let her speak. Do it in silence. Thank you so much. We want to listen.
I know it's hard. I came down here to preach tonight.
Okay.
I didn't stop my whole dissertation to come down here, but it is so important that we have a superintendent and leader who is going to stand up to bullies. I heard a trustee ask, is there a non-negotiable when we're talking about diversity and equity and inclusion? Yeah, there's an absolute non-negotiable. We're not going to respect laws and policies that deny a person's humanity. Hello, it was legal to have slavery. We're not, there are non-negotiables around here in this piece. So let me come back. Where was I? And here's what saddens me when I listen to some of the public comment across, the students are listening. We need someone who's gonna stand up for us. Stand up for my diversity. Stand up for being included and belonging. When you all are in the back room, I hope you're standing up for us. I really do. To those who have listened to pure ignorance and people try to dismantle DEI, when first of all, we ain't the ones who the DEI hires, because we out here qualified. Anytime someone tells you that diversity is not important, ask them to run down their resume before you say something else. To those who have listened to the hypocrisy, know that you are loved, know that you are valuable, and know that your diversity matters. Joan Ebert will be the person who can, should I say this? Should I say it? She'll be able to strategically walk around the dummies.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson, and next is David Gomez.
Good evening. Years we have waited to have a board in place that was not pure chaos. Many of us have hoped that this board here truly is here to do the right thing, the best thing for students, for teachers, and for the district. Whoever you choose is inheriting what many people call a dumpster fire. Taking a page from Harry Potter, he who must not be named did many things to cause mistrust of CCSD by parents, the community, and quite frankly, teachers. He quite literally almost broke many of us to the point that we were looking for what we could do outside of teaching. There are many things happening currently in the district with the budget. Many schools are losing staff and admin, and many students losing programs that they love. Performing arts teachers like myself are looking at record numbers in our classes or having our programs cut altogether. We are looking again at many teachers talking about leaving the district and more parents planning to pull their kids to attend charters or private schools. We need someone who is willing to jump right in and implement solutions. We need someone who will listen to all stakeholders about what our district needs. More importantly, listen to the people that are in the trenches every single day, teachers and students. We have the opportunity to do something great for CCSD, and as much as I want to directly quote RuPaul Charles, if you know, you know, I will say, don't mess this up. The children are watching you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez, and then Mr. Gates.
David Gomez for the record, Nevada Peace Alliance president. I want to talk about the spirit of truth. The spirit of truth reveals the truth, but you have to be willing to listen. Listen to something beyond your ears or what you think you see. I wanted to tell you that after careful consideration and talking to my sister, Tracy Lewis, who's sitting behind me, She agrees that Mr. Mumford, our former assemblyman that passed away, and her mother, Marzette Lewis, would be in full support of Joan Ebert. These are the people that paved the way. These are the ones that made sure we had a way when there was no way. They were the ones that brought light at the end of the tunnel at times. And sometimes they brought us laughter. Sometimes they brought us like, whoa, wow, did they just say that? But we respected them and we loved them for who they were and what they did for our community when no one else was sitting in here. When I was sitting here by myself for many years, I'm one of the longest organizations that's been out here fighting. I went to Wake Up because Marzette Lewis found me. I said, boy, we gonna fight for this school. I said, okay, whatever you wanna do. Took me, put me on the radio, took me everywhere that she went. And we finally got Charles I. West Prep built for those kids. Got them out of those portables. You know, I spoke with Mr. Schuldener's union. I spoke with them personally, and I can name the people. And they told me all the horrid things that they heard and they did. How they got their money taken away, how they're still fighting for it. They're under negotiations, and he still hasn't budged, but yet he wants to abandon that problem and come and start a new one. Excuse me, I'm not for that. You know, I just wanted to say thank you to our sign language folks that everybody forgets to say thank you to, because I'm pretty sure those hands are very tired. I wouldn't be able to do it. In the beginning, me and Joan didn't get along, but she always embraced me and I always pushed back, like David Gomez always does. And Joan came to me and said, you know, David, regardless of what we see as difference, I'm still here for you, even though you're good trouble. I didn't go for her in 2018, and it's on record. And I said no. I said no to her. I said yes to Mike Barton. But you guys, or not you guys, I'm sorry, someone else said yes to Dr. Jara. $5,000 Peloton bike. Amazing on that one. Marzette Lewis, when she was alive, told me to tell him to get back on that thing and pedal back to Florida. But I'm going to tell you that Nevada Peace Alliance and everyone that stands with me, and you better believe I'm not going away, is going for Joan Ebert. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Gates, are you here? No? All right, Miss Jenna Robertson, and then Amy Spiro. Sometimes it's hard to read writing, no? How about Miss Ford? Please begin, Miss Robertson.
Jenna Robertson for the record. I was still writing my speech. I thought we had a whole lot more public comment to go, so thank you. I just want to say that I had a Facebook memory pop up today that 5 years ago last night, I was in this room feeling very unheard, feeling very disrespected. A lot of us were in this same room. Former Trustee Ford was here, Trustee Cavazos was here, and we were a room full of parents, teachers, expressing our concern about the pandemic and how we needed schools to close because other major districts were closing, and our superintendent's solution was to close down football after school and theater practice. So our students were still going to go to school. They were still going to sit next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. They were going to put our teachers in the classroom, but there was not going to be football practice outside or theater practice where kids could spread around a theater and talk. So my problem that night was we didn't have a proactive superintendent. And last night, I almost felt apologetic for bringing up COVID because that didn't feel fair. What did that have to do with, our superintendent? Our superintendent was not proactive, but he sure looked good on CNN saying what a great job he was doing. And I realized this morning that I don't have a favorite in this race. I think we'd be just fine no matter who you pick, and that's really the honest truth. I don't envy your job. I don't have a favorite, but I do have a least favorite. And my least favorite right now is Mr. Schuldener, because I think he is the candidate most likely to go on CNN and say what a great job we're doing. And I don't mean that as a slam. I don't, because I have nothing against, I'm from Michigan. I want to root for the guy. He's the candidate most likely to go on CNN and say what a great job we're doing while we are burning. And that's not fair. That is not fair, but he is polished enough to be like Jara on CNN when we are begging him to listen to us and not feel heard. I also want to take a quick second to thank Trustee Biasotti for my least favorite question, which was about DEI and putting the candidates on the spot to answer that question. And I do thank you, because I thought they had to answer that. And I don't know that you got the answer that you wanted. I don't know that any of us got the answer we wanted. But I was so happy to hear them say they would follow the law. And I was angry at first, because I thought they were saying, well, if Trump gives us an executive order, we have to follow that. But when I got home and I was sort of reevaluating the answer really was, it is state law that this district has a policy to protect gender diverse kids. It is state law. And it's not federal law yet. It might become federal law. But right now, those candidates said they will follow the law no matter what the executive order says. And right now, it is law to have a policy, whether you like it or not. And I know you don't, and it's okay. And that may change. But thank the candidates for answering your really tough question. Thank you.
Thank you for being respectful. Next, Abraham Camejo. Ms. Ford, please proceed.
Oh, what a world, what a world. Hello, Danielle Ford for the record. I am a member of the Nevada Board of Education.
Sorry, Ms. Ford, one moment. I'm stopped your time. Audience, please, we want to hear the public comment. Keep the noise down to a minimum. It is hard to hear from this side, and we want to hear what they want to say. Ms. Ford, please proceed.
Danielle Ford for the record. I'm a member of the Nevada Board of Education, speaking here as an individual. I didn't write anything because what I was going to tell you earlier, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to say the quickest thing. I don't have to use the whole 3 minutes. I was going to ask you to just please choose somebody from here and to choose between Jesse and Joan and to consider who you think cares the most about the district. Everything else aside. And then I was going to walk away. But now it seems like Joan Ebert is going to get selected. And let me explain to you what's going on in my mind, okay? 5 years ago, I was sitting back here dealing with a very terrible, terrible superintendent. It was very stressful. Did 4 years of that. If you don't know that story, I chronicled it over 12 hours on my YouTube channel. And then a year ago, I was strolling, walking a dog, and Anna Binder texted me, and she said, oh my gosh, there's a seat open on the Nevada Board of Education. And I thought, you know what? It was so stressful being a trustee. What a leisurely seat that would be to be on the state board. I certainly like that superintendent. And now it looks like you're taking her from me. So I just want to say, while you're all here and there's a large audience, that while I am grateful for this happening, I'm so happy for CCSD. I haven't felt hopeful for this district that I grew up in, that I have 22 nieces and nephews that are either in or going into that my kids graduated from. I have not felt hopeful for a long time. I finally do. Except that now you're throwing me into a state superintendent search. So I don't super appreciate that, but I would like to request that all 11 of you be as attentive to our search as we have been to yours. And the only way that this all goes sideways, right, that this hope crashes, is if everybody doesn't pay attention to what's going to happen at my board. Okay, we meet usually Wednesdays, once a month. We have a meeting on April 3rd. The next one is, we have April 3rd and we have May 12th or something, I don't know. Please come. They start at 9 in the morning. They're on Wednesdays. We need people to watch what's happening there, and we need community involvement in that search, because what I don't want is another superintendent to come in and take control at a different level and ruin another board for me. Please don't.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Ms. Giles, you're next after Abraham. And then I know that we're not accepting any more yellow cards for 3.01. We still have 4.01, but for 3.01, that is it. Please proceed.
Abraham Camejo for the record. I proudly serve as the Bond Oversight Committee member for construction. I'm also a member of Rancho High School's SOT team. But most importantly, I'm a father. I'm a father that's involved because everything education-wise affects my children, my neighbors, and my community. So that's why you see the big guy here. After considering everybody and all the great candidates, it's a tough choice, to be very honest. But I also always consider what would the community want, how would the community react, and seeing everything that's coming down from the national level to, is my community going to be facing food insecurities? Are we going to be losing funding for children that speak a different language? I'm blessed that I was able to grow up in the Clark County School District. I'm also blessed that I attended community college at the CSN and also UNLV. I'm not an Ivy Leaguer. I don't speak no fancy words. I'm a construction guy. Been doing construction for many years, and now I spend my time making sure our workers go home safe as a risk manager. And sometimes we don't get our way, but it's the little things that makes the difference. And my personal support, I would like to have Dr. Jesse Welch there, but that's my personal choice. Looking into it with the community, what we need at the end of the day, school district needs a mother. As much as I work hard to provide for my family and come super tired, school district needs a mother. And something as simple as I was at the state board's meeting yesterday and paying attention to these meetings because Danielle Ford is absolutely correct. Ebert came up to me, just said hi, and offered me a bottle of water. Something so simple. We need to consider somebody that will look at our school district like that will consider the conditions of our schools, how they're deteriorating, how we need new schools, and how it affects it. So as a guy that grew up with a single mother, I think we need a mother to lead us. Thank you.
Thank you. After Ms. Giles, Ms. Turner, please proceed.
Good evening, Madam President and trustees. I had a prepared speech, but after hearing all of your public comments and thoughts, I had to rewrite it a little bit, so please excuse me if I fumble through it. But I did want to thank you for providing us the opportunity to meet with the three candidates on Tuesday. I thought that it went very well. All of them answered our questions. So with that being said, the candidate that you select, it will be imperative that this individual continues the already established collaborative relationship with ESEA. It would be detrimental to support professionals if this were to stop. And if it does stop, my hope and expectation is that you all would step in and help get that back on track. They should also be willing to enact significant changes to our current culture and climate. I mean, if we're talking about diversity, support professionals are the most diverse set of employees in the school district. We're the lowest paid. We're Black and brown women. That's real diversity. We need someone that will hear our concerns and take them seriously. Someone that cares about the well-being and mental health of the support professionals that keep this district running. I hope that you have done your due diligence and ensure that you are hiring the best candidate. CCSD cannot afford to make a hire that will cause a setback. We need someone that is going to move this district forward by making positive changes for the district as a whole, not just an individual employee group. We need equality for all employees, support for all, not just one. Support professionals deserve to be respected, not dismissed. This individual needs to be a champion for all employees. It's clear you guys have already made your choice. I hope it's the best one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Giles. Ms. Michelle Chen, please proceed. Ms. Turner.
You had me confused for a second. I was like, not the right person. Okay. Thank you, Madam President. Rachel Turner, parent of CCSD children and foster parent as well. Hearing everything and having paid attention of the last year to what we've had happen in our district and where we're going, I do believe change is needed, and I think that the change that us as constituents want is decisive. We don't want to just change for the sake of change. We want change because we need help. And as much as I've had communications with Dr. Welsh, and I think he is a really brilliant guy, I do believe that he brings a lot of data knowledge that, based on our previous budget issues, and also, finding out that we use Excel spreadsheets to maintain payroll and benefit information, I think that's a valued person that we should have. I don't know that that's the person that should be leading us today. Everything that I've been listening to, the information I've read, I am concerned about bringing in an outsider. I do think Ben Schuldiner is also leaning into the mistakes we made with Jara. I would love to see us move forward with somebody who knows us as a district, cares about our kids, cares about our teachers, cares about our support staff, our librarians, cares about the people working in this district building every day, that really has embedded themselves and wanting to step into a space where they can care for the people that they are asked to lead, and be cooperative with this board. Seeing the dissension that has happened on this board in the past, and some fears I have about some of the current board members, I want somebody who can come in and be a strong leader across the board and be able to be transparent, be honest, be vulnerable and self-aware. And honestly, I think that Joan Ebert is that person. As everybody said, she's ready to go day one. And as far as being somebody that can represent our families, our kids, and most importantly, our district, she seems to be the best candidate, in my opinion, as well. I do want to just make sure that we're taking into account that we need another second in command, because obviously that would be good too. And so I'd like to put in that maybe we need to look at Dr. Welsh, and I hope that he is considered for that secondary position, because I think having his data and his experience with our community, balancing out Ms. Ebert's information and her data and her skills, would be a dynamic duo that could do some amazing things for us as a district. So thank you.
Thank you. After Ms. Chen, John, can't read the last name. Maybe MID, maybe, is there a John that signed up for 3.0? 301, is that widget? I don't know. Okay, then Noah Herrera after Ms. Chen. Please proceed.
Good evening, Ms. President Bustamante. It's wonderful to see you here. My name is Michelle Chen. I am a CPA, and I'm on the board of the Asian Chamber of Commerce. For over 2 decades, we have been proud to support outstanding CCSD students through our scholarship programs. And I do want to say thank you to all the CCSD board members for your wonderful support throughout the process. Today, we are here and we are honored to fully endorse Ms. Joan Ebert as the next superintendent of Clark County School District. Ms. Ebert has been a tireless advocate for education in Nevada, and her nearly 3 decades of selfless service speak to her leadership, vision, and her unwavering commitment to student success. We believe that her dedication to education aligns with the Asian Chamber's mission to inspire every student in the pursuit of excellence, while also preserving and celebrating our cultural heritage and ethnic identity. So we deeply appreciate your commitment and partnership, and we look forward to continuing our collaboration with CCSD to create a bright and successful future for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Mr. Herrera, and that will end our 3, after him, that will end our 301 agenda item. Please proceed.
Good evening, Madam Bustamante and fellow trustees. My name is Noah Herrera. I'm a native of here of Las Vegas, and the reason that's important is because I grew up here, I went to school here. I'm also Mexican, and I remember growing up, and there was only 2 of us in our whole school. And as I grew up and go older, and I grew up in the 70s here in Las Vegas, so it's very rare. And I understand with all the multicultural differences that have happened, how important this change is. I'm also a business owner. I own several businesses here in Las Vegas. But today, the reason I'm here today on behalf of the Coalition of Independent Nevadans. We're known as COIN, and we're pleased to express our strong support for State Superintendent Joan Ebert as our next CCSD Superintendent. COIN is a political action committee formed in 2002 to represent nonpartisan voters and engage them on key policies affecting Nevada. COIN represents the voice of 35% of the voters here in Nevada and Clark County. And education is among the most critical issues shaping the state's future. Given the significance of this decision, our board believes that it is important to share the perspective on the next leader of CCSD and why we strongly support Ms. Ebert's candidacy for several key reasons. Number 1, extensive experience, proven leadership qualities, deep commitments to Nevada, and student-centered vision. And especially since we're in session, there is no one else that can pull this off. You know, our district is in a pivotal moment, compounded by uncertainties in federal education policies. Now is the time for a steady, experienced leader. We urge the board to select a superintendent who embodies stability, vision, and a deep commitment for Nevada students. And that candidate is State Superintendent Joan Ebert. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Okay, team, that takes us to the end of public comment. We're still on item 3.01. Now we will go to the motions. I will entertain motions. Trustee Cavazos?
I wanted to say a discussion. Would I be able to, before I take a vote? Did you finish off the public?
Thank you, Madam
Yes,
President.
sorry, Trustee Cavazos, hold on for a second. Yes, all public comment. There was one person named John. I couldn't read the last name. Okay. I also called a Reggie Gates who had signed up. I didn't see that person come forth. And Amy Sparrow, maybe is the last name? Please proceed.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And just say your name for the record. That would
John
help.
Wickett, W-I-C-K-E-T-T. Most of the comments that I intended to make tonight have already been made more eloquently by others, and so I'll keep it short and just talk about one issue, and that is student mental health. I'm a local attorney, and for the last several years, one of my main clients has been an organization that contracts with CCSD to provide mental health services at the schools. And while working with them, I've learned a lot about this issue and how it impacts our children in our schools. We have students that are dealing with food insecurity, housing instability, institutional distrust, fear of being deported, and all these issues create tremendous anxiety and other problems that are inextricably linked to a student's ability to succeed academically. We've spoken to the candidates. We find that Ms. Ebert understands this issue well and seems to be the candidate who has the capacity to deal with this issue and provide the guidance that the district needs to select the best way to help these students and to make sure that their well-being is safeguarded and that they're able to be successful in schools as a result of that. And so I'd just like to personally endorse her and hope that you vote that way this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and that ends our public comment. So now it's back to us, and I do believe that Trustee Cavazos, you're ready for a motion, is that correct? Okay, give me a second. Trustee Biasotti, do you have any questions?
It was not a question. I want to make a comment before I take a vote.
Okay, we can do that after Trustee Cavazos makes her motion, then we'll have discussion after the second. Okay? And for legal counsel, if I take a motion and a second, can I take discussion from the trustees?
John Okazaki, General Counsel. The law provides that
if you take discussion, you have to provide for public comment.
Okay, then I will not take discussion. Trustee Cavazos.
I still want to make a discussion, I'm sorry. Even if we have to go to public comment, I would like to make a statement.
Hold on for a second, please. Remind the audience, this is our business meeting. Please, Trustee Biassatti, please state your question, and then I'll ask legal counsel for their direction.
I understand there has to be a public comment portion after my statement. I still want to go ahead with that, if it's possible.
I'm not sure a statement would constitute discussion, so I guess it would depend on the statement and what proceeds after that.
So I'm going to take a 3-minute recess. I'm going to ask some questions. So 3-minute recess. Thank you. All right, Ms. Binder, Mr. Gomez, if you guys could take your seats. Thank you so much. I want to thank the public for allowing us to have a conversation with our legal counsel. This is so important to us and want to make sure that we get it right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and entertain a motion. I believe Trustee Cavazos was in the queue, and then it was Trustee Dominguez. Do I have that right? Okay, so Trustee Cavazos.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I would like to state that I would like to make a motion to appoint State Superintendent Joan Ebert as our new superintendent. And I would like to state to our audience that I did not speak earlier on this as far as speaking on the different candidates, because I wanted to hear from all of you first before I stated that out loud. I did not want to discount your public comment. I do want to say that I'm making this motion I want to say, holding this person that we are choosing as the next leader of our district accountable and transparent, and to be there for all of our employees, students, our community, our schools, everyone. It is not just picking and choosing. So I am hoping that this is going to be the person. I have confidence that if with a unified board working together, and we've not had that in the past, I was here, I lived through that we need to be unified and collaborative and doing the best for our students and our educators. So it's with pleasure that I make that motion, and I am holding confidence that Superintendent Ebert is going to listen to all of you who spoke tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cavazos. We're going to do a Part A and a Part B to this item because there's also some direction that we need to give staff, but we'll take care of this part first. So, Trustee Dominguez?
Thank you, Madam President. It is with true honor that I second this motion, and I am truly excited to see what CCSD can be and their potential, and I am very excited to see our district move forward in the correct direction.
Thank you, team. So I have a first and a second. The motion is to select Joan Ebert as our finalist for the position of Superintendent of Schools for the Clark County School District. Please cast your votes. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you. That is a celebratory, so that is appropriate. There's a second part to this, and team, this is to direct our legal counsel to enter negotiations for an employment of contract with Ms. Joan Ebert, or alternatively, direct the staff for next steps if we didn't, but we don't have to go to that part. So I'm going to turn it over to our legal counsel just for some comments.
Thank you, John Okazaki, General Counsel. So there would be a conflict for me. I am still General Counsel of the Clark County School District. As soon as the new superintendent signs her contract, she will be my boss. So as board counsel, I can't, it's a conflict. I am primarily General Counsel for the school district. I am going to defer this back to the district attorney, who has already indicated that whenever there's a conflict, they will be happy to step in. So I will be contacting the deputy district attorney's office to have them represent you in creating a contract that you will offer to Ms. Ebert, and the negotiations will be between Ms. Ebert and you through your district attorney representative.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion, and I believe I have Trustee Esparza-Straffagan.
I would like to make a motion as forementioned by our legal counsel.
Thank you. I have a motion to direct our legal counsel to defer to the district attorney's office to negotiate the employment contract to our selected finalist. Do I have a second? Trustee Henry?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. I do have a question from Trustee Cavazos.
Thank you. This question is for our interim board counsel. Mr. Okazaki, you stated that you would direct the district attorney to prepare a contract for the board to basically go through the process and the protocol. We do not have at the moment an agenda item on our agenda, either any upcoming agenda so far, to continue. We've started the process already, and we already have, I believe, I'm not sure, and I don't want to go into something that's not agenda-sized, but depending on how long that's going to take, if the district attorney's office is directed to start on that contract, but in the meantime, we are able to hire a board counsel of our own, would that new board counsel immediately take over if contract negotiations are not finished?
Yes, John Okazaki, General Counsel. Yes, absolutely. The district attorney is only obligated and would only represent you if you do not have private counsel. So then the minute you do hire private counsel, they would be your counsel.
Will the board have any input on who that attorney would be from the district attorney's office?
No. Their obligation is as an office, and they would get to assign the person.
So it would be District Attorney Steve Wolfson that we get to select our board attorney?
I would assume so. I'm not sure how the hierarchy works there. I know who I'm going to ask, the point of contact who has been working with me since I've been board counsel, Scott Davis. So I'm going to be reaching out to him to indicate that I believe I have a conflict and solicit his help.
Thank you. Last question. Would the board be able to talk to you while you're still our interim counsel as far as giving you input?
About everything else except this.
Okay. I asked for that. Thank you, Mr. Okazaki. I appreciate your patience.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from the trustees on the motion? Okay. All right. So I have a first and a second. If you would please cast your votes. That motion passes 7-0. We are going to go ahead. I'd like to ask trustee, I'm sorry. I have a trustee Biasotti that'd like to make a statement, and trustee Esparza Strafigan.
Yes, more than anything, and thank you for that. I wanted to make it clear to my community the reason why I feel that our now new CCSD Superintendent, Joan Ebert, is the one to represent them. 4 years ago today, just a quick anecdote, I had gone down to the Nevada Department of Education, and I took a book called Genderqueer, and I displayed it to the board, and I was upset about it. I explained it. I was used to getting the usual side eye, but when I was walking to my car, our superintendent walked me all the way to my car and explained to me that I could go directly to the principal and challenge this book if I had a problem with it. I didn't have to go through the whole process. So I was very grateful that she showed that concern and care and listened to my concerns that day. The other thing, too, is that in December, she also approached me and told me about the SB 59 bill that her department introduced, and it's the anti-grooming bill that I call because it would discipline a teacher for acts that would be considered grooming. So I want to thank her for that, and I just want my community to know that they will be well represented with Ms. Joan Ebert. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Esparza Strafigan.
Thank you, Madam President. In the spirit of learning lessons, I really want to implore my colleagues with some of the past lessons that were learned from our previous experience. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is I want it to be put on record for a recommendation. So we learned some lessons from our first ejection of a previous superintendent, and I just do not want us to make any assumptions as we're doing a transitional plan. So in the past, we had a superintendent do pay raises on their way out, and there were also promotions that were granted left and right. So what I'm recommending is that this board has the expectation of the interim superintendent from this date forward to pause any hiring, promotions, appointments, and transfers of principals and at-will cabinet-level personnel, any central administrators for the sake of stability. We've talked about we need stability tonight going forward, and that the new superintendent will assume these decisions. I also recommend that no contract negotiations happen with any employee occur, which I didn't realize that we were going to have that tonight, so I thank you for that. Lastly, it is in my hope that as part of the contract negotiations with our new superintendent that we will allow for an overlap and transitional period between the interim and the new superintendent so that all data files, operational functions are successfully transferred. We just want to set up our new superintendent up for success. I just want that to be on record.
Thank you for that statement. With that said, we're going to move on to 4.01. Is there anyone that has not had a chance to fill out a public comment card? All right, we will start with Jessica Ollie and then go to Alpha Nash. Please proceed.
Hi, my name is Jessica Alley. I am here as a parent. I am a pre-service educator, but I am not here as that person right now. It's funny that Trustee Biasotti brings up genderqueer and challenging genderqueer because, you know, as a parent, I'm concerned about her commitment to American values and the Constitution as a public official because last week, she used her position to access children and indoctrinate them using Brave books. Are you familiar with Brave books? The publisher describes them as pro-God stories that reinforce biblically based foundational values. Sounds like a violation of our constitutional rights, if you ask me, given the limit test and the separation of church and state. If you knew anything about federal law, I'm sure you would agree with me because these books, as described by the publisher, are about topics such as gender identity, sanctity of life, cancel culture, communism versus capitalism, and the evils of CRT. You know, they're for books who are for God-loving, patriotic people like you. Well, I was raised in an American society where I was told that religion can be respected privately outside of schools. There was no promotion of any other religion. There was no promotion of any other values except for what she believes, and she is hijacking our district and the superintendent search with her personal agenda and not considering her whole entire constituency. And I am concerned about her ability to protect our children's constitutional rights and make decisions with that in consideration. It is not okay for somebody in public office to take advantage of their public office, and go into a school and preach to children backhandedly about what you believe is right. Because they're Christian nationalists. They're not actual Christian values. It's not about judging people. I was raised Southern Baptist. I know very well what the Bible says. And these books are not actually aligned with anything that we should be teaching children in schools. We shouldn't be teaching them that elephants aren't birds and that culture is a villain. We shouldn't be teaching them that, you know, this is what's important in schools. She's not a social studies teacher. She doesn't understand the curriculum as an educator because she has no teaching experience. And I'm very uncomfortable with somebody sitting on the board and representing our city and thinking she represents constituents when she's violating our constitutional rights while mandating or demanding that we observe her sensitivities and her beliefs. That's not okay.
Thank you, Miss. Next, I have Alpha Nash and then Teresa Frazier.
Okay, good evening. My name is Alpha Nash. I'm the current president of our state chapter of the National Art Educators Association. I'm a teacher at Del Sol Academy of Performing Arts, and I'm an art teacher. I've been an art teacher in the district for 15 years, and I'm in year 30. I'm here to raise concerns about eliminating art positions, especially at the elementary level. If you didn't know this is occurring, even when the position is currently filled, staffed with a teacher with a license endorsement, or staffed with a teacher who does not have the license endorsement for art. Please, we need to keep art available to all our students at all levels of instruction. Regulation 4113, excuse me, dyslexia. Section 2B specifies that librarians and other specialists must have licensed endorsement in their content area where they are hired. Elementary art positions and elementary music positions are not listed in this regulation. I'm asking for these two areas to be included in Regulation 4113, Section 2B. Why do I feel so strongly about this subject? I'm worried because I have heard of many elementary schools that are losing their art positions. Their art positions are being changed into an arts and humanities because they are having a difficulty of finding qualified teachers to fill the position. This is going to have rippling effects at the middle school level and the high school level for students. If you ask an elementary student what their favorite class is at school, 9 out of 10, they're going to say art. They look forward to that. With the way the art schedule is, they get it once a week, maybe. They love art. And it's so important because art encourages creativity. It helps students develop and master fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination. Art develops problem-solving skills and confidence and focus. Through art, we can help students expand their creative awareness and help express their emotions. This is only part of a long list of the benefits of art education for a student. And ultimately, we want to create strong, articulate students that can communicate in artistic ways. I have a science background. I have a master's in science education through the middle school. Einstein said there's only one degree of separation between art and science. Please consider these points I have shared today. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is my first time presenting. Thank you.
Thank you, well done. And I just want to remind the audience that if you're addressing us, address us as a team and no personal attacks on one individual. We are a team together, and we don't have any individual rights. We have to do it as a group. So address us as a group, and I'd like to invite our next public comment, Ms. Frazier, and then Amy Brown.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Frazier, and I am a highly qualified music specialist for CCSD. I have worked at Elizabeth Wilhelm as the music teacher for 16 years. I'm here tonight to ask you to amend Regulation 4113 to prevent the elimination of art and music positions from our schools. These positions are being given to unqualified generalists within school buildings by administration. A major part of our students' basic educational needs are the arts. Music is a specific discipline that is integral to the development of the whole child. It takes our students from kindergarten to 5th grade to get to a point where they can begin to master their voice or an instrument and to learn to play with others in ensembles such as choir, orchestra, band, and mariachi. If the 2020 lockdowns taught us nothing else, it is that continuous high-quality instruction is necessary for continuity and the best learning. The band, choir, and orchestra directors will all agree that you cannot just put a student into their ensembles and get them to learn. There needs to be a foundation laid prior to that grade level, and that is where CCSD music specialists come in. We lay that foundation by providing instruction and practice in the many facets of these disciplines, such as reading rhythm and melody, knowing form, using expressive qualities, dynamics, articulation, composition, and improvisation. While the students are with us, they learn an enormous amount of music-specific vocabulary and the history of the songs and the science of sound. These formative years can be tough for our children, and music is a haven where they can find themselves in the company of like-minded peers. They learn diligence through practice and working towards a goal through rehearsals that lead to the concert. Students become confident, finding their skills and forming connections with others through the study and performance of music. This doesn't happen in a vacuum. This requires a highly trained professional music teacher who knows how to administer instruction in ways that our diverse students can learn. We have been the #1 best communities for music education in the United States for 25 years running, and we have a fantastic community of savvy music educators, many of whom present nationally to other districts. By amending Regulation 4113, you will guarantee that students have a highly qualified music teacher instructing them. Many students will gain entry to college through music scholarships, propelling them into their futures. We respect our brother and sister generalists, but they do not have the training to teach our discipline. Beyond my music education degree, I have continued to develop myself professionally for 16 years for my students. You cannot learn what we know in a few classes, nor can a student learn from someone who does not have the training that we do. Our students deserve the best, and that is a highly qualified music specialist who knows what they are doing. I invite you to come to my school and listen to my music ensembles and see what can be accomplished by a highly qualified music teacher. This is about keeping music instruction in our students' lives. Please make them the priority by amending District Regulation 4113 to require all music, art, and
Thank you,
PE to be highly
Ms. Frazier. Ms. Brown, and then Susan DeHart. Ms. Brown, please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Amy Brown, and I am the Assistant Professor of Music Education, Pedagogy, and Practice at UNLV. I am here today to ask you to look at the qualifications for placement of licensed teachers in a general music classroom. The proposed solution entails revisiting Regulation 4113, Section 2B, which specifies that librarians and other specialists must have a licensed endorsement in the content area in which they are hired. The request is that we specifically add music to this regulation. When classroom teachers ask me about a music endorsement, I have been asked, don't you have a general teaching license like me? And the answer is no. All who teach music, K-12, are highly qualified, trained musicians first. Then we pick up extra education classes through the College of Education to teach our craft effectively. We are not qualified to teach anything in general education unless we get a general education endorsement. At most, a classroom teacher takes one class to integrate music in Common Core, whereas music education majors undergo a 5-year degree program. If untrained teachers continue in a general music classroom, the music education program will have devastating long-term effects. When students move on to middle and high school, they will not have the musical foundation they need to continue in high-quality performing groups. Vertical alignment of our skills is how we successfully prepare students for the next level of musicianship. At the university level, this will affect our music education degree program. Currently, we have about 90 music education degree-seeking students who will be ready for employment within the next 5 years. Our students are well prepared with high expectations and rigor in our courses to prepare them for music education's specific teaching jobs, many of whom choose to stay in CCSD. Pedagogically speaking, those with a music education degree or endorsement are trained to specifically scaffold a lesson to ensure success for all students, including all types of diverse learners. Differentiation in a music setting looks very different as students actively move, sing, play, and create. Finally, if a teacher is supposed to be an expert in their field, then they need to be able to demonstrate that. Our curriculum is designed to include performing, so if a classroom teacher cannot read music, how will they even be able to teach this standard? And if they are not teaching the standards, how can they be evaluated effectively using the NEPF? They would not know how to connect prior learning or have students make connections because they cannot even do that themselves. This is why I'm proposing a simple solution of adding just a few words to the current regulation of 4113, Section 2B, to ensure that our students receive the highest quality of music instruction. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. DeHart, and then after that, I'm going to mess this up, but Jusin? Hyeon Jusin. Is that person there? Please proceed, Ms. DeHart.
For the record, my name is Susan DeHart. I am a former elementary music teacher and the retired coordinator of elementary fine arts. I am addressing you tonight because of a concern that elementary music and art programs are being eliminated or will be taught by teachers without a licensed endorsement in the corresponding content areas in the upcoming school year. I would like to see Regulation 4113, Section 2, Part B, amended to state that music and art teachers are required to have a licensed endorsement in the content area for which they are being hired and assigned to teach. CCSD can be proud of the accomplishments of the Fine Arts Department, including 25 years of Best Communities for Music Education, the only district to hire elementary art teachers in the state of Nevada, the largest mariachi program of any public school district in the nation, and performances and presentations at major art and music professional conferences by students. These accomplishments can be directly attributed to having music instruction taught by a teacher with a music endorsement and art instruction taught by a teacher with an art endorsement at every elementary school. A licensed music and art teacher at every elementary school sets this district apart from the other districts in this state and in the nation. The previous administration's 5-year plan, titled Focus 2024, identified a strategic goal to increase attendance and foster a sense of belonging for students. An identified strategy to meet this goal was to increase opportunities in fine arts. And yet here we are in 2025, decreasing opportunity and decreasing teacher quality in the arts. The CCSD job description for elementary music teachers states that music teachers will teach state standards and the elementary music ORF curriculum. The CCSD job description for elementary art teachers states that art teachers will teach state standards and discipline-based art education, also known as DBAE. The rigor and the demands of the ORF curriculum and DBAE exceeds the training and the experience of classroom teachers without a licensed endorsement. 2 years ago, the CCSD Board of Trustees amended CCSD Policy 6161 to require librarians to have a licensed endorsement. The arts deserve no less and need the same consideration. Regulation 4113, Section 2 was last amended on November 15, 2007. After 18 years, it's time to amend this regulation to ensure music and art are taught at every elementary school and only by teachers with a license endorsement.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, if you'd like to make your way up. The name that I couldn't pronounce, that one's yours. Okay, come on up. That's okay. Yes, that one. And then Ms. Williams, if you're still in the audience, you're next.
Good evening. My name is Haeyeon Joo-sin. I'm a music teacher at Dr. Beverly S. Mathis Elementary School, and I am the president-elect of Nevada's Desert Valley chapter of American Orchestra Association. I was a co-chair of the 2023 and 2024 CCSD Orr Festival, and I am here to ask you to amend Regulation 4113 to require that music and art be taught by licensed educators, endorsed in their respective content areas, just as Section 2B does for librarians. As an active member of the music education community in CCSD, I am deeply concerned about the growing trend of elementary schools eliminating dedicated music and art programs, even when there are licensed and endorsed teachers available. To meet the fine arts requirement, some schools have a humanities class where a single teacher, often unendorsed in either subject, teaches both music and art. In other cases, music teachers are being required to teach art and vice versa. This approach is not sustainable. I cannot imagine teaching both music and art in a single 50-minute period. My students are so engaged in music that they often don't want to leave my classroom. Adding art to that limited time would diminish both subjects. It is a common misconception that anyone can teach music and art. Teaching music is not just about singing, playing instruments, and dancing. It requires specialized knowledge. CCSD has a well-developed music curriculum aligned with state standards. But to implement it properly, a teacher must be able to read music. Unfortunately, some music teachers lack this fundamental skill because they were reassigned from general education classrooms rather than trained as musicians. For example, my school had kindergarten teachers teach music in their classrooms. One of them, despite having played clarinet in high school band, admitted that she could not confidently teach beyond the kindergarten or first grade level. I am not an art teacher, so I cannot speak directly about their curriculum, but I believe their role is far more complex than simply showing students how to draw or how to follow YouTube draw-along videos. Our district is recognized year after year as one of the best communities for music education because we have highly skilled, dedicated music educators who continuously refine their craft. A strong elementary music program is the foundation for our nationally recognized secondary programs. Without it, those programs will suffer. I recently received an email from a former student, now in 6th grade, proudly telling me that she is the first chair flutist in her middle school beginning band. She thanked me for everything she learned in elementary music. Her success is a direct result of having a qualified music teacher. If we continue to undermine elementary fine arts education by placing unendorsed teachers in these positions, we will see the long-term effect in our secondary schools. Please amend Regulation 4113 to ensure that music and art are taught by properly licensed educators. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, are you still here? Nope. How about Rachel Rivera and Tyler Swick?
Hi, I'm Rachel Rivera, and I'm a current CCSD K-5 elementary music teacher and mother to a current CCSD student. I want for my daughter and all students to be taught by the most qualified teachers. I'm here to ask that elementary K-5 music and art teacher positions be staffed with a teacher who has a license endorsement to teach those specialized subjects. I'm asking you to amend Regulation 113B, Section 2B, to also include music and art positions to have a license endorsement in that content area. I myself have completed a 5-year degree that prepared me to be a musician and music educator. This included taking music theory, music history, ear training, playing in an orchestra, and violin lessons, in addition to all the specific music education courses like teaching strings, band, choral, and elementary methods. My daily job in elementary music is to teach the Nevada Academic Content Standards, which requires students to create, perform, respond, and connect music. Each of the grade levels are to learn very specific music concepts within melody, rhythm, harmony, form, and expressive qualities, using modalities such as singing, playing instruments, dancing, reading, notating, and creating music. As stated in our very own Nevada State Music Standards, the arts are essential in education. Instruction in the arts fosters effective work habits, creativity, innovation, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and collaboration. These things would not be achieved by a teacher that is not certified to teach music. As a student of CCSD music education from 1993 to 2003, I've had the honor of being taught by certified music educators. My love of music started in elementary music, singing in class and in the choir, playing recorders, xylophones, and playing in the steel drum band. I went on to join orchestra in middle school and played violin in high school and college. Without certified music teachers, I may not have become the person I am today. In 2007, I was placed with a very accomplished and certified music educator to do my student teaching in CCSD. Her knowledge and experience gave me a model of how to teach music effectively. Here's a little glimpse into my 17-year career as a certified music educator for CCSD. I've earned my master's in music education. I'm a national board certified teacher. I've presented locally and nationally, teaching and sharing my expertise in music education. I serve as adjunct faculty in the summers at UNLV to teach Orff Schulwerk, which is an approach to teaching music to music educators. All of these things demonstrate the importance of having a certified music teacher. CCSD's music program is known nationally for supporting music in every elementary school with a deep-rooted history and being a big district that teaches the Orff Schulwerk approach. It is heartbreaking to see colleagues that are certified music teachers lose their jobs to another teacher not certified in that content area. What would happen if we no longer have certified music and art teachers? I know it would have changed my life if my elementary music teacher didn't have the skills and understanding to teach music. What other potential musicians, music educators, collaborators, creative minds, and innovators will the world miss out on? I am lucky I grew up in a time where CCSD ensured music education was taught by qualified people, and I hope one day my own daughter will say the same thing about CCSD today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swick, and then after that, Kelly Edgar.
All right. Hello. My name is Tyler Swick. I'm a musical product of CCSD. My dad is a retired CCSD music teacher. I went to Gilbert Elementary School, where I learned from Miss Leto. I went to Hyde Park Middle School, where I learned from Mr. Tyler. I went to the Las Vegas Academy, where I learned from Mr. Townsend, Mr. Bowen. I took private lessons from Dr. Julian, and I also took lessons from Miss Bullock. Both prepared me for the next level, constantly pushing me. All of them have license to teach in Nevada. I went to college with scholarships. I got a master's degree for free for music. I came back to CCSD to move the torch that lit my musical fire. In my 11 years in the district, I've received the Heart of Education Award. I've been labeled a 40 under 40 music educator. 8 Nevadans hold that title. 7 are in CCSD. It's a great place to be. I love it here. I want to say amazing. That's why we're all here. And most recently, the 2024 PTA Teacher of the Year for the state of Nevada. My classroom is open to many doors. Superintendents, board of trustees, politicians have been in my classroom, but most importantly, student teachers from the UNLV. That's the most important part. Our ecosystem is that we push the next generation of teachers to come through, and we promise them there'll be a job, and not just a job, but a great job in CCSD for those teachers. We take on, and many people who have spoken today have taken on, if not all of them, have taken on student teachers. And that's because we care so much. Because of this, you've heard this number, 25 years consecutively of being titled one of the best communities for music education. And we take that seriously. You've heard the concern. I have the same numbers written in my speech, but we're concerned that the classrooms are being passed over to convenience and not the rigor that we know got me here. I'm so excited to be in front of you right now because it took this whole path to get here, and it wouldn't have happened without a qualified teacher in all of those classrooms. I'm going to jump back to the last paragraph because I probably should read it. Regulation 4113, Section 2B specifies that librarians, they need credit, the endorsements, and we wish that music would go that direction as well. My own daughter is a first grader in CCSD. The next generation terrifies me. I'm not that old, but she is at a school right now where the music teacher has left, they're leaving, and the first 4 applicants that they've interviewed do not have music licenses. They're kindergarten teachers, first grade teachers, second grade teachers, other specials, and there's no intention at the moment for them to try harder than that. And I think this will make a big difference if this becomes amended. And so I think my daughter deserves a music teacher that has a license. It would feel wild not to. So I greatly appreciate your time. I greatly appreciate you hearing us out. It means the world to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just to remind the audience, we are not accepting any more public speaker cards at this time. We have Miss Kelly Edgar, and then next up is Lynn. I'm not sure. Okay, please proceed.
Trustee Bustamante Adams, members of the board, I'm Kelly Edgar. I'm a retired CCSD choir teacher, and I am also here to address the fact that we have non-credentialed teachers teaching our music and art classes because of Regulation 4113. Now, I hold a bachelor's and master's degree in music education. I'm also national board certified, and I was fortunate enough to teach choir here for 25 years. I also actually have a background in musical theater, and I performed professionally. And so some of my principals throughout the years suggested that I teach a theater class when we needed more electives, but I always declined. And the reason why I declined is because I knew that I would be doing my students a disservice. I know how to act, but it doesn't mean that I know how to teach acting, just like I know how to read and speak English, but you wouldn't have me teaching an ELA class, right? So there are many different methods and pedagogical practices for teaching any subject, especially in the arts, not to mention damaging habits students can develop if not taught correctly. Acting, singing, art all require muscle memory, much like athletics do. Just as poor technique can hinder an athlete, developing bad habits early on can have lasting effects on our young artists. Now, without the right training, well-intentioned but not credentialed teachers delegated to these roles may unknowingly pass on incorrect techniques or fail to provide students with comprehensive training required to pursue the arts in middle school, high school, and beyond. Now, some principals have even decided to cut the arts altogether, and we've already heard all the amazing data out there why they shouldn't. But I want to add on to that, especially in the age of AI and our job displacement. Human creativity is quite possibly going to be the only advantage that we have left. I read an article recently that said creativity will be the most valuable human asset because it involves envisioning the non-existent, using intuition and emotional intelligence. Those less creatively inclined risk being left behind. And the key to nurturing this essential skill is having a strong foundation in the arts under the guidance of arts educators who have the credential to teach the arts. So please amend Regulation 4113.
Thank you. Then we have Lynn, and after Lynn, it's Paul. Molly? Please proceed, Lynn.
Good evening. I'm a 35-year Las Vegan. I teach music at Shelley Berkeley Elementary School, and I've worked for 17 years as a full-time K-12 licensed music educator and for 20 years overall with CCSD. Over the last few weeks, dozens of elementary music educators have received layoff letters on school letterhead, even certified mail from their principals to inform them that there will be no music program in their schools next year. Instead of embracing a climate of fear and intimidation, we music teachers are actively choosing positivity, unity, and strength as we come before you tonight asking for your help and support. I'm asking the board to consider the following items. Number one, please keep all elementary music programs for the 25-26 school year. And number two, please immediately stop the allowance and practice of site-based administrators asking unlicensed and non-endorsed general ed classroom teachers, such as kindergarten teachers, to teach K-5 music for next school year. If you can help us with those two items that I've just described, then my colleagues and I, we can continue to work on an amendment to Regulation 4113, which will specifically denote and mention music educators must have a licensed endorsement to teach music at the time of hire, making an elementary music educator a required teaching unit in a school. We are trying to prevent an unnecessary and sizable reduction of force. I'm also here to warn about what will happen across our district elementary schools with cut music programs. When music was removed from the Shelley Berkeley Elementary schedule this fall, overall school attendance went down from 98% to 78%, as reported by the principal to parents and stakeholders via weekly Sunday night calls, and has steadily remained at a 10 to 20% deficit for almost 6 months and counting. Over half of current grade 5 students enrolled in the extracurricular music program at Berkeley last year are now experiencing score deficits in 1, 2, or all 3 of the math, ELA, science, MAP standardized assessments. However, in the school year 22-23, 93 of all Berkeley grade 4 and grade 5 extracurricular music students showed score increases in 1, 2, or all 3 of the math, ELA, and science MAP assessments, which was critical in obtaining a 4-star rating. Berkeley is slated to cut their music program next year. And with the cut is happening so fast, no one even knows if our school namesake, the mayor herself, has been made aware of a change to a legacy program of the school. To those who are newly elected and to our new superintendent schools, please heed what your successful predecessors have known. If you save the music, you will save the district. In closing, I will read from a handwritten note delivered to me from Ms. Larson Mitchell last spring. Lynn, thank you for your dedication and hard work with the Orff Festival. The students were amazing. Grateful, Brenda. Please save the music. Please keep our elementary music programs in our schools for students. And please keep the licensed and endorsed music educators working in our communities before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. If you could come forward. After that, Vicki Kreidel.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm Paul Malloy, a working musician and elementary school music teacher. I'd like to ask 2 simple questions. First, how many of you would willingly buy a car with no fuel injection? Second, who here has been hurt when a teenager in your care with their still developing prefrontal cortex, the brain's decision-making center, ignores your advice on a crucial life decision? Despite the strong frame, well-tuned suspension, and capable engine, a car without fuel injection can't fully function. And that's what we do to American school children when we deny them a robust arts education taught by qualified educators. We provide the frame of basic education with core subjects, but compromise the system that ignites creativity, fuels critical thinking, and propels learning. We then demand they perform well on standardized tests, navigate higher education, and compete in the modern workforce. Countless studies have proven time and again that a fully funded arts education taught by competent, credentialed educators is a vital component of a well-rounded education that enhances brain development and facilitates learning across all subjects. Putting the integrity of our children's arts education on the chopping block is a uniquely American practice. But then again, the United States is only 249 years old. Compared to Greece, Italy, Germany, and Japan, the American prefrontal cortex is still under development. Centuries of cultural investment have taught these older, wiser nations the profound connection, quoting President Kennedy, between achievement in public life and progress in the arts. Their long histories have shown them the arts' power to shape identity, foster innovation, and build cohesive societies. They recognize that devaluing the arts is like severing a vital artery, weakening the very heart of their cultural, intellectual, and entrepreneurial lives. Our young American decision-making tools don't serve us here, and we can't see it. We only need to look to our elder cousins overseas to see the thriving societies we could be building here. Please consider the words of Aaron Sorkin. If fidelity to freedom and democracy is the code of our civic religion, then surely the code of our humanity is faithful service to that unwritten commandment that says, we shall give our children better than we ourselves received. What are we giving Clark County's public school children? When the history of the district is written, how will our decisions be judged? By the educational and social outcomes they produce? Will we be remembered as guardians of well-rounded education or as architects of educational malpractice? Will our legacy be one of developing the whole child by honoring expertise or betraying our students with untrained teachers and short-sighted compromise? Brain surgery is best handled by brain surgeons, and arts education programs are best taught by highly qualified arts educators. Respectfully, I urge you to preserve, protect, and fully fund our arts programs and retain our colleagues who teach them. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cradell, and then after that, Jennifer Helliwell, I hope I pronounced it right. Please go ahead and take the stand here on the right, on my right. Please proceed, Ms. Cradell.
Good evening. My name is Vicki Cradell. I'm a CCSD reading teacher right now and the president of of Southern Nevada. I didn't write any prepared remarks for this portion, but hearing the statements and thoughts from my colleagues who are working in the arts, it feeds right into what I wanted to talk about. Everybody knows that the district is facing deep cuts at almost every school. My school, it's $1.7 million shortfall. We are working, I believe we are losing 5 classrooms. There's 5 classrooms that are going to be closed. My reading center is going to be closed. So all of us are either going into surplus or being put in other positions. At this point right now, I don't know what I'm teaching next year. I want to be at my same school, but I don't know what I'm teaching. We need to look at the overall picture in CCSD. Behaviors are unlike anything I've ever seen. We need to ask why. If we are serving these children a diet of canned curriculum, they're not even reading whole books in their classrooms anymore. Teachers aren't allowed to do read-alouds in elementary classroom because the curriculum takes precedence. Every minute is given to them. These are how many minutes you have to instruct. This is what you're doing for every minute of your day. In my reading center, we read whole books. Lately, I had a 5th grader who was struggling in his classroom. He comes down to us, and he does not have behavior issues because we were reading Esperanza Rising. And we were doing activities related to the book, and they were making posters, and they were talking, and they were engaging with each other, and his behavior issues disappeared. These children need a well-rounded education that includes PE and art and music and real books and math and science and social studies. Some of our classrooms are having to make cuts where these elementary kids are no longer getting science and social studies. Some schools are cutting music. Some schools are cutting art. We need to think about before we do the damage we're going to do to these children. They need all of these subjects. Some kids come to school because they love music. They come to school because they love art. They come to school because they love sports. It's not just about test scores. We have to be about more than test scores. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer, please proceed. After that is Barbara Ellis.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Helliwell. I'm a professional working musician, a music educator, and CCSD parent. I am not a CCSD music teacher, but I studied music performance at Northern Arizona University, and I also received my master's in music from UNLV. And I've worked extensively in the community in arts education, supplementing what the music teachers are doing at CCSD. And I've been here for about 20 years, and I've had really successful private students go on to have really successful experiences, and I just want to echo all of the sentiment that's been shared about what's going on in our music programs right now. I wanted to point out, I wanted to mention for my son, when I told him that our school was going to be losing the music teacher next year, he said, well, why are they going to take away the only reason why we want to go to school? Sharing from the parent side, it's really concerning to hear these types of things. And, I'm not mad at the principal for that decision. I'm upset that she even had to in the first place, but I apologize. I'm kind of losing my spot here. One of my concerns that came up was that a lot of the elective offerings for sixth graders are music-based, almost exclusively. They are offered band, orchestra, and choir. And how are we setting these kids up for success in their sixth grade classrooms if they don't have all of the elementary music and art content under their belts when they're going into sixth grade? Arts are essential, and as a performing musician, I remember just about 5 years ago, I was giving my very last performance before everything was about to shut down, and I mean, the fear, anxiety in the room was palpable, both on the performer side and the audience side, and we carried on with our performance and engaged, and I mean, everyone was healed by the music in the room that night, and I think we all saw arts and music and creativity thrive during the pandemic. Everyone was creating things and putting it out via the internet while we were all stuck in our homes. And the arts are essential. They are what saved us in that time. And I just want to also point out that cutting these programs are what drive parents away from CCSD. I have multiple neighbors and friends that are choosing charter and private over CCSD for this very reason, so please make the amendment on 4113. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara, please proceed. After her is David Owen. If you could make your way up. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Barbara Ellis. I'm a local violinist and a licensed music teacher in CCSD. I'm here to share about several issues for fine arts in this district. Solutions include better funding and a possible amendment to Regulation 4113, Section 2B, to add the music endorsement as a requirement for elementary music teaching in every school. First, unfortunately, licensed music teachers are not being placed into all music teacher positions. In some cases, those positions have been given to general classroom teachers already at the school instead. Second, despite what has been shared to the public about there being no budget issues, there are huge budget cuts, and they are negatively impacting students, teachers, and learning, including my own students. Some schools have been asked to cut up to 7 positions. With this in effect now, suddenly licensed music positions, including my own, have been cut from the school for next year. CCSD was named one of the best communities for music education by NOM for 25 consecutive years, but that title is no longer accurate when music is allowed to be cut from schools. A best community for music education would not cut music education from its students. Now with positions cut, they may be taught by unqualified teachers, generally other specialists who have their own specialized trainings for their subjects, not these, all while teaching their own designated subjects at the same time. This is the current plan for many elementary schools in the district next year. How can the district continue to be one of the best communities for music education when music is not even being taught by a music educator? Lastly, although this intense budget issue is new, unfortunately it's a fact that although it's required for music and art standards to be taught and assessed in this district, for years already there are schools that don't follow that. Some schools have no music or art teachers nor music or art grades. The bottom line is that specialized areas such as music need to be taught by a trained licensed music teacher, and in every school. Every student deserves access to a quality music education and opportunities taught by a highly qualified music teacher. I know that my hundreds of students will not have the same rich educational experience next year that they have had and deserve. They will not receive quality music education, nor have their music teacher or their beloved music club. For many students, this is a safe place where they can have a voice, succeed, be part of a group, build confidence, lead, have a sense of belonging and community. Students have told me over the years, including this year, that the only reason why they come to school some days is music club. And I'm sure that this is true for many other music programs in this district as well, some of which are also being cut. It may be too late to fix this for students who will be negatively affected by this next year, but I truly hope that no other music program in this entire district at all levels would ever be cut again after this. Our students deserve better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. After Mr. Owens, Julie Thrasher, please proceed.
Good evening. My name is David Owen. I am the music specialist at Bozarth Elementary School, and would you believe I'm here to speak about amending Regulation 4113, Section 2B, to specifically include music educators and art educators needing a license and endorsement from the Nevada Department of Education to teach our subjects. Besides being my day-to-day work of being a music educator, I've also served as the co-chair of the district's elementary music or festival that recently happened. I will serve in that position again next year. I've served on a task force to revise and update our elementary music curriculum guides, which are a critical resource for new music educators. I've also taken on student teachers from UNLV and mentored practicum teachers and new teachers to our district. So I know our curriculum inside and out. I know what it takes to teach it. All of my colleagues have offered very good accounts of the value of music education, the value of experienced teachers. So I'm going to offer a purely pragmatic perspective on this. Taking this action to amend this regulation is simply good politics for the district right now. We are in a moment where the school board and our new superintendent need to regain trust from the public. They need to gain goodwill, and this is an easy way to do that. It shows the public and it shows your employees that you value the work of your music and our educators. It shows that you have a holistic view of education. It shows that you value the whole child. It shows that you are willing to take quick action when an issue is brought to your attention. Frankly, I think the district really needs that win right now. I feel that music and art are one of the only sources of goodwill that we really have with the community, and it would be a grave mistake to let the quality of those programs erode, because then you burn that last bit of goodwill that you have right now. Speaking to my own experience, I came to this district from Pennsylvania, all the way across the country in 2014. I came here specifically because I wanted to teach music in CCSD because of the reputation of our programs. This is a time when salaries for new teachers were abysmal in this district. I think it was $34,000 at the time. I've stayed in the district in all of the years since then, through the entire ordeal of COVID-19 and teaching online, through multiple extremely contentious contract negotiations. I've stayed here through all of that because of the quality of our programs. I'm highly experienced in what I do, and I would hate for my students to lose that in all of their schools. A student's quality of music education should not depend on their zip code or on the whims of their school principal. We need to amend this regulation so every single child in this district has a qualified music and art teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Binder, you're up next. Ms. Thrasher, please begin.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. My name is Julie Thrasher. I'm a K-5 music specialist at Jenkins Elementary School. I am here this evening to ask you to amend CCSD Regulation 4113, Section 2B, to include art and music specialists. The only specialist currently covered by this regulation is library. Right now, as you have heard from my other colleagues, there are elementary school administrators who are cutting their licensed music or art teacher and replacing them with a classroom teacher. There are also schools who are cutting music or art or the art teacher and having other specialists cover this area. And while we're all amazing at what we do, I can tell you right now, I cannot do with kids what my art teacher does with kids. She's amazing. Cutting these programs from highly qualified professionals is grossly unfair to my colleagues who have worked hard to build their elementary programs only to be surplused and replaced with a classroom teacher or other specialist. At this time, this is going on at the following schools that I know of. Gray Elementary School, Parsons Elementary School, which is also Titled I. Those two are located in Las Vegas. It is also going on at Newton Elementary School, Aggie Roberts Elementary School, and Nate Mack Elementary School, which are located in Henderson. Every child in this district deserves the right to an arts education taught by a teacher with a music or art endorsement. Anything less presents a lack of equity amongst our students. It is not fair to the students that some schools will have an endorsed professional and some will not. Some students will have a teacher who knows how to teach music and knows how to teach art, and some students will have somebody who at best is taking their best guess. At worst is parking them in a room showing them movies. Our students deserve to have someone who knows what they are doing. I am a product of this school district. I am a proud product of this school district. I had amazing music educators. I am asking you, Board of Trustees, to amend Regulation 4113, Section 2B, to require endorsements for art and music. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jordan, I think Jordan left. Yeah, okay. Monica, or unless Jordan's in the, yeah, Monica Abad, thank you. Okay, Ms. Binder, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. So when I got here to CCSD, when I was a little girl, I was just telling Mr. Tyler out in the hallway, I slid right into second chair clarinet in Mr. Jackson's music class at Johnson Junior High, my 7th grade year. And I never challenged the first chair because my friend Steven is still my good friend, and he went on to major in band at LVA. As you guys know, I also went to LVA, but I chose dance. And I think just a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys, that before the pandemic, Ava was in her 6th year of playing violin in our district. So that was her spring practice right before COVID happened. That was the last time I heard my little girl play her instrument. And that was 5 years ago, about a week ago. I'm a band nerd. I was raised one. And I know it's okay. And then Legend, when he was nonverbal, we had this amazing music teacher at Faye Galloway, and she taught all the kids how to play the ukulele. And I think Trustee Cavazos will remember a couple years ago, we lost her, and we didn't have a licensed music teacher for about 2 years. And Legend would just sit. He has a permanent rug in the corner of the music class because since we lost that teacher, he doesn't really want to participate. But he still carries his little ukulele, and I don't know, I was gonna play you a little song, I'll send it to your guys' email later, but he wrote himself a little song about he was tired and he wasn't gonna go to bed with his little ukulele at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, but when Legend first was speaking, everything was in song, because he loved his nursery rhymes. And so when he wanted something to eat, he would come in and sing it to the tune of a nursery song or whatnot. And now at 9 years old, he has his own DJ mixing board. He still plays that ukulele. He has a drum set. He has a guitar. And our kids do deserve music. So even though only 2 of my 5 went into music, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have music either, because it's what kept me after school. It's what kept me involved. And it's what gave me purpose when I got brought to this district. So thank you guys all for what you do and for coming out tonight for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, after Monica, it's Tim Underwood, if you're still here. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Monica Abad. Ooh, that's not bad. I am with UNLV's Collegiate Chapter of NAFME. This stands for the National Association for Music Education. I first want to thank you all for your hard work, keeping this district alive and going. So before I got into music education, I worked 4 years in casino restaurants while in college. Then I worked 9 years in finance. So surprise, I'm not a 12-year-old, though everybody thought so. So anyways, so I understand that it's a tough job to figure out allocating funds and budgeting. And as a student, actually, I'm inspired by y'all's mental strength to sit there and listen and listen and listen to all of this. So I thank you for that. Now, I'm here to urge you not to replace licensed music educators with homeroom teachers for elementary music instruction. There's going to be a big ripple effect, huge domino effect that would transpire with this. Maybe we feel like, oh, it's just elementary. We'll still have middle school. We'll still have high school. But elementary school is the foundation of all future music education. If we ask, can a student do calculus without learning addition and subtraction? It may seem obvious. So removing the certified elementary music specialist is like removing basic math and then wondering why students can't do advanced math down the line. So music is like a language where if it's introduced younger, makes a world of difference. But let's say we don't care about music and arts and we don't care about creativity, all that, and we value academic success and attendance. Well, then you're gonna love the research that we've all been talking about strong music programs in schools. It enhances reading skills, SAT scores, improves IQ levels, it improves memory and concentration, better attendance rates, develops social and emotional skills, reduces substance abuse, and more. So just look at the highest achieving schools in this district, and you may notice that they're also high achieving in music. So is that a coincidence? I think not, right? But let's say we don't care about music or academic success, and we value the children's ability to be prepared for the real world. Well, board, I ask, have you ever tried to learn an instrument? Anybody? Yes, no? Well, it's hard, ain't it? And there's no instant gratification in it. It teaches perseverance, resilience, grit. And most people think, oh, they learn this in sports. Well, here in music, there's no bench. One kid playing a wrong note at the wrong time could ruin the sound for 100 students doing it right. This is a sense of teamwork, responsibility, and human connection. I'm going to fast forward here because I'm running out of time. So just a quick story. I grew up in a Title I school with physical abuse at home. I was surrounded by crime and violence. Band was a safe place for me. I remember I would avoid fights because I'd think, what if I get punched in the mouth and I can't play my solo in band tomorrow? Us band kids seemed impervious or like resistant to mischievous peer pressure because we'd say, we can't get suspended. How will we be in band? I had a friend who was shot and killed being involved with the wrong crowd. I'm afraid of where I could have ended up without elementary school programs that led to band.
Thank you, Ms. Abad. We got Mr. Underwood and then David Gomez on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim Underwood. I got 5 grandkids in this valley and been going to CCSD school since 1965. G.K. Chesterton once said, we do not need to get good laws to restrain bad people. We need to get good people to restrain us from bad laws. At the last board meeting, the last public comment speaker was a young lady who essentially accused me of causing my son's death by suicide by not accepting his trans identity. While I tend to disagree with her opinion, I will fight to the death for her right to speak it. What she said, however, was a convenient and pathological lie. Perhaps if she had read some science on the matter, she would have been more likely to speak the truth if truth is indeed her aim. I must say she does have bad timing. 2 days after her false accusation, the Journal of Sexual Medicine released a study published by Oxford University. I tip my hat to Joey Gilbert for informing us of this news on his Substack account. Quote, a new national study using a massive database of over 107,000 patients reveals a harsh truth. Those who undergo gender-affirming surgery are actually more likely to suffer from severe mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, substance use disorders, and suicidal ideation, compared to those who don't have the surgery. These figures directly contradict the mainstream narrative and highlight the urgent need to rethink how we approach gender dysphoria treatment. Unquote. The truth is, the wages of transgenderism is death. The WPATH files proved has proven their transgender healthcare standards are false based on no scientific experiments or even a single medical study. I emailed all of you trustees the WPATH files last month, documents from a WPATH whistleblower which exposed the organization as a complete fraud, so you have no excuse. Excuse me. Oh, and don't try to escape accountability to the working class family by saying, I was just following the law. When following orders is the same flimsy excuse the defendants of the Nuremberg trial used. Collaboration is participation. Your job is to serve your constituents, protect them from bad laws, and not devour their children. I conclude this rebuttal with words of wisdom from the Book of Wisdom. Do not invite eternal death by a life prone to error, nor incur your soul's destruction by the works of your hands. For God did not make death, nor does he delight in the death of the living. He created all things so that they might have existence, and the creatures of the world engender life. It is better to have a change of mind, to reconsider past political positions, to understand new facts have come to light, and to repent. The way of excellence is to vote to repeal a misguided policy that daily causes great harm to school children. Entrust.
And after Mr. Gomez, I have Jenna Robertson.
David Gomez, for the record, Nevada Peace Alliance president. I sat there so long I forgot what I was going to say. I never write anything down unless I really have to really get into details of something. But this is the first time in 25 years I've been happy with the outcome of something. And I've been doing this a very long time. I'm tired. But doesn't mean I'm going to go away. Music is important. I was listening to some of these teachers and everyone here, but because I understand a lot of different things in the Bible, music helped King Saul. King Saul would have probably killed King David if music was never there, and he probably would have did a lot more damage. But music is important. My daughter plays music. My son plays musical instruments. Obviously, I don't have time to look up in my phone exactly where the music is, but I do have it. But I didn't just come up for that because I was listening to them and I feel the passion, but I also wanted to resonate on Abraham Camejo's words. We do need a mother, because without my mother, even though she was a little strange at times and very difficult, I wouldn't be here. And, you know, as an LDS member, most of our wives are very educated, super educated, but they stay at home and they educate our children. As mothers, they are the nurturers. As a father, I know how to do the correction. I know how to give the correction. But he is right. We do need a mother. And I'm proud that we have our first woman superintendent of Clark County School District in a permanent position. I have seen a lot of dysfunction happen up here, and I've seen a lot of dysfunctional people up here. But this is like the first time in a very long time I've seen functionality, and it worked very well. And I'm very proud to say that you guys did a good job. Even though some of you might not have agreed with the decision you might have made, but you knew it was the right thing to do. So what I am gonna do, most people don't appreciate, but it's okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray for these people here, and I thank you for everything they do when they do the right thing. I ask you to bless them and to be with them continuously and to give them discernment in all their ways. And all those who come to them, that they open their arms and help them just as much as they have done today by listening to Clark County School District parents, communities, and everyone else. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
And after Jen, I have Rochelle Turner.
Jenna Robertson, for the record. I'm parent of 4 current CCSD students and 1 recent graduate. Our CCSD music, art, and theater teachers are magic. Please support them. Please save Silverado High School programs too. My husband and I met in a theater class, and we're raising theater-loving kids, a choir kid, and 1 inexplicably sporty junior ROTC kid. All of those kids would lose their reason for getting up every day and going to school if we were zoned for Silverado. Please save their programming. So, a member of this board brought up the grooming bill at the state legislature tonight. We should all agree that grooming is terrible, especially in our schools. In fact, the other day, the Review Journal reported a former Clark County School District assistant principal was arrested last week after he was accused of paying to touch a 16-year-old student's genitals. Hurley Smith, 54, was booked into the Clark County Detention Center on Friday. The arrest stemmed from a February 24th investigation. Smith resigned from his post at Canyon Springs High School on March 3rd, according to a CCSD police report. Another news report on this issue mentioned staff members were paid to adjust the students' attendance by this person, I assume, over 150 times. 150 times this school year. Those are mandated reporters, and I look forward to hearing about their charges in the paper as well. But here's the problem. We've heard the terms groomer and pedophile thrown around as a partisan insult in this very boardroom so often that it should be noted to the entire board, though not all of you have called us groomers and pedophiles, thank you, that this was an actual groomer in our schools. This is what an actual groomer and pedophile in CCSD looks like. Please remember this the next time a teacher or parent or your fellow board member simply accepts, respects, and affirms our LGBTQ CCSD students, and it's called a groomer or pedophile in this room. I was given a catchy nickname by our local Moms for Liberty friends in the boardroom tonight for affirming our gender diverse students. So I thank you for listening to me. Signing off, Jennifer Child Robber Robertson. Very creative, I know. Thank you.
And if I could get Abraham Camejo to go up next, go ahead, Ms. Rachel.
Hello, Rachel Turner, CCSD parent and foster parent. I just wanted to come up and say thank you, guys. You came together and you did the right thing, and you found us hopefully a great leader. Again, want to remind you, we still have the deputy superintendent that's going to eventually be picked, I hope, and I'm putting my saying in for Dr. Walsh. I think we need that balance, and from what you guys said, and having gone through the process with all of the different candidates, it sounds like the two of them would make a really dynamic duo. In regards to this general statements that have been made tonight, I also have a child that plays bass guitar. He is also on an IEP, and so he does take and have some special learning needs as he is diagnosed as being on the spectrum. And it would break my heart if he were to lose his music program. I did not hear his school as being one of the ones on the cut list, but I know that his desire to get up and go to school, and he's in 6th grade, so middle school, hardest school you can be in, hardest grade you can be in right now when you're an autistic spectrum kid, is based around wanting to learn more on the bass guitar. So please listen to these music teachers. They're speaking from their heart, but mostly they're speaking for our kids. And I just ask that you take the time to listen to them. And just a reminder that a lot of them are the safe spaces for our kids, whether they be neurodiverse, gender diverse, LGBTQ, of different socioeconomic backgrounds. These kids can play an instrument, they can be with a music teacher, and they deserve to have somebody who knows what they're doing teaching them these lessons. So thank you so much for your time tonight, and good job, board.
Mr. Camejo, and then Jim Frazee, you're up next.
Abraham Camejo for the record. Madam President, members. You guys are doing a good job. Just want to say that. You guys are not fighting. Not yet, but don't fight. I appreciate everybody coming up and speaking about the music programs. My daughter enjoyed learning how to play the cello in high school. So she would always go from wrestling practice to practicing her cello. So yeah, I taught my daughters how to wrestle. But speaking about the music program, I'm going to stick to the construction. It would be bad to have our theaters and our schools continue to fall apart, leaking and stuff. So I'm original Rancho, but when I was at school, I remember, Mr. Barroma, I remember this, but the hallways would leak, the inside the classroom would leak, and we didn't have no air conditioning. So those are some of the issues I'm trying to bring up. In Nevada Revised Statute 388G.6 10, Section 5, it reads, in Section 5, if a large school district is unable to provide any necessary maintenance or repairs of a building or grounds of a local school precinct in a timely manner, the large school district must, at the expense of the large school district, procure any equipment, services, and supplies necessary from any entity or business to provide such maintenance or repairs for local school precincts or take any other necessary actions. The problem with this law, it does not define what is a timely manner. So recently at Rancho High School, the elevator was broken for 2 months. Not working. Teachers can't get up to the second floor. Let's not even get started on a potential lawsuit of any students that can't take the stairs. ADA compliance. Another elementary school had a sinkhole issue that the repairs has been sent since May of last year. Another school that I went and I saw while I was at Reading Week, the entire roof is on the ground. It's leaking. And I can keep going on and on and on. So the problem is we have what is it considered a timely manner? So I encourage the board to look into that definition and work with the Department of Education and try to define and make those policy changes, because every construction project can be resolved, but what is considered a timely manner? We're moving into the summertime. Our air conditioners are still broken. What is it considered a timely manner to get them fixed so everybody can enjoy a good classroom, a learning environment, not only for our students, but for our workers, our teachers. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. After Mr. Frazee, Ms. Schuman, and that would end our public comment. Mr. Frazee, please begin.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm sorry, Moen. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, distinguished trustees. I want to apologize to you first because I didn't come here to speak about music, but I would like to thank my hardworking colleagues and wish them all the best in their endeavor. I just stuck it out to the end because watching you in action was so refreshing that I wanted to say thank you very much for what you did. Your search process was open, it was honest, and it was inclusive. And everyone felt that their voice was heard regardless of where they ended up. And I can just say for myself and the colleagues that I had spoke to, you got it right. And so I'm very proud of that. You're starting the healing that we so desperately needed. I came here last time to speak because our failed superintendent, Jesus Jara, was advocating for a candidate that you soundly rejected because he wasn't qualified. And then he went on to advocate for the rejection of the candidate that you chose, a cool, competent woman that I am proud to call my new boss. And I just want you to know what you have done tonight, and that is you have closed the door on the Jesus Jara legacy, and you have allowed us to start to heal. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your effort, and I look forward to seeing you in action again.
Thank you, Ms. Schuman.
Yes.
My name is Terry Schuman, and I am a CCSD employee. And I just wanted to thank you for taking my late yellow card. But I just couldn't not wait here and not say anything. And I didn't know that 4 other people were going to beat me to the punch. But I just want to say to each and every single one of you, the professionalism, the sticking to your standards, everything that you have shown tonight has shown me that we're headed in the right direction. I am so very proud of every single one of you. And since I'm not working, I sit at home and I look at the top 5 schools in the country, and I say, how did they get there? How did they stay there? And I just feel that after making these decisions tonight, that we are definitely, I'm encouraged, we are headed in the right direction, finally. You know, I remember Jim Frazee just mentioned Jara, and I remember the first night he came into the school board room, And told him, I says, you know what, you're my homeboy. You're just 30 minutes from where I'm from. And but I said, I would not have voted for you. And I said, Dr. Barton was sitting right next to me, and I said, I would have voted for this guy. But I am so encouraged, and I am so confident, and I'm just looking for exciting things to happen now. That not one discrepancy tonight, not one nasty or brittle word came from any of you guys. And I've been coming to school board meetings since I was a substitute teacher here. And this past Monday, I just celebrated my 19th anniversary here in the district. And I have seen people come in, even using cuss words and everything else. And I just have so much confidence in you guys that we are finally on the right road. And I look at Trustee Cavazos. She's been my trustee forever. But I look at her as she sits on the end of this stand here. And all I see is her. She's been here the longest, I believe. But I look at her and I see you as the solid rock, that you are going to be responsible for keeping this group together with your wisdom, your experience, and everything else. I'm just looking for great, great things. Thank you again for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Schuman. And that ends our public comment. We are now going to go ahead and move to item 5.01, the upcoming meeting of the Board of Trustees. The next meeting will be on March 27th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in this boardroom. We'll next move to item 6.0. I'm looking for a motion for adjournment. Trustee Esparza Estraffigan.
I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:13 p.m.
Thank you. I have a first, Trustee Dominguez.
I second the motion.
I have a first and a second for adjournment. Please cast your votes. That passes 7-0. Good evening.